Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. So, my guest today is actually a buddy of mine who I used to work with a long time ago at LA Fitness, where I first started training. He's been in the fitness industry for well over 10 years. He's 2 master's degrees. He has a bachelor's degree in the industry. Please welcome my guest, Zach Scheerer. So we're going to start off with a fire round. Zach, you ready?
We're live right now?
Yeah.
Oh, mother.
There we go. We're recording.
All right. Awesome.
All right. If you had to live somewhere for the rest of your life,
Maui.
LA or New York?
Oh, fuck. Okay. I mean, I'd have to say LA. Just because I come from Chicago, Illinois area. It's
Right.
freezing cold. I told myself I'll never live through that shit again.
Okay.
Amen.
Even though I miss it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Are you? Do you like giving gifts or getting gifts?
I mean, that's a trick question, bro.
No, it's not. It's right here. It's.
I mean, giving gifts 100%. Just because that feeling of seeing somebody get something. Like I am a guy that I cannot keep a surprise. I'll buy Sarah a gift. I got to give it to her like right then. Her birthday may be 2 months later, and I'm fucking already giving her shit. So I'm like, I'll just get her something else.
You like seeing your reaction?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Would you rather cuddle with a panda or a penguin?
Probably a penguin, just because they're tiny.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I already know this question. Have you ever hit someone in the face? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
I knew that right
I
when I got it.
Like professionally or
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go both.
both? Yes. So,
First one of 7 doors that come to your mind.
Doc.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Favorite carnival food?
What are those little funnel cakes, man?
Yeah,
Funnel cakes
those are the
probably
shit.
yeah.
With the white powder on top. Oh,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, funnel cakes are probably it, dude. I know Sarah loves those too, so
Yeah.
gotta throw that on.
Do you respect Kanye West?
I respect his work ethic and his hustle.
Okay.
I can respect
As a
that.
person. Scratch all of the music and worth it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, he hasn't
Okay.
done anything to take it away from me. So,
Okay.
you know,
Ideal outside temperature.
70.
Hmm.
Not too cold, not
Yeah.
too hot. Take your shirt off.
Yeah,
Maybe sometimes you need a hoodie. It's perfect.
there you go. Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, dude. Absolutely.
Whoa, you're the first one, dude.
Absolutely.
Everyone says Super Smash Brothers.
Dude, I'm old school, bro.
Favorite genre of music?
I'm like a Coldplay guy. Like
I can dig it.
I'm more like light rock kind of deal. Just something that's gonna put me in a good mindset.
Good
You
mood.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because music literally is, dude. If you want to have a crazy day, listen to crazy shit. You want to have a crying day, listen to something that you're gonna cry at. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
No, I get
music
it.
literally just it translates into life.
Get it. Okay, would you rather jump from a plane or a mountaintop?
Like suicide? Like
You have
Or
a
do you
pack
have a
on.
parachute
Yeah,
or
you have
what?
you have a parachute.
Let's see. I'd say probably a plane.
Okay. Have
Yeah.
you ever been skydiving?
No, but crazy story, man, real
Fuck.
quick. A good buddy of mine, Greg Plitt, that passed away back
Yeah.
in 2015. Like he was a mentor of mine, and I looked up to him for a while when I moved out here. Him and I, worked out together and shit like that. And I remember when I first moved out here, he's like, dude, I want to take you skydiving for like a congrats on actually making the move to get out here. Cause I lifted up and rerouted out here.
Yeah.
People thought I was crazy. And he's like, dude, I'm proud of you, blah, blah, blah. Let's take you skydiving. I was like, yeah, dude, I don't think I can jump out of a plane. Because this
What?
dude had like 2,000 jumps. Like
Yeah.
more than that. I mean, like he was like an instructor and like all this shit.
He was an
And-
adrenaline junkie. That dude was
dude, yeah,
fuck,
he was crazy.
crazy. I was like, what?
But one thing that happened is 2 weeks before he passed, he was in Instaball, Turkey, and I sent him a text and I was like, okay, dude, let's do it. I'll
shit.
go. Let's go. I'll go. Because he told me right when I told him no the first time, he's like, all right, when you want to quit being a bitch and face your fears, let me know. And so I was like, all right. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. 2 weeks later it passed.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
Would you ever go?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
We went. That shit was fucking
Yeah?
wild.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's gnarly, dude. Like you're.
Did you have to do like a tandem jump
Yeah,
first?
we did a
or
tandem jump.
tandem.
two tandems, I think it is?
It's
or
9.
9 tandems and
Yeah.
then
I think you have to
Jesus.
get a total of 10, and then you have to take a class.
Yeah,
do
it's like
solo.
an all-day class.
Yeah.
It's like an 8-hour class that you have to go to. And then when you jump by yourself, I think there's 3 instructors.
Mhm.
There's 2 on the side of you. So in case you pass out, there's an emergency chute that comes out. But in case that emergency chute doesn't come out,
They grab you,
Yeah, they
harness
grab
you in,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I wonder how many times that's actually
Dude,
happened.
it's fucking wild.
That's
I
wild.
don't even want to know the number. That's crazy. All right. This brings me to my next question. Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Skydiving.
Okay.
I've been bungee jumping. So
Okay. If you could do something for the rest of your life, would you rather do upper body or lower body? One thing.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go bro here and say upper body. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, my ego wants to go, I'd rather do some squats, but come on, dude, no. I would rather do some deadlifts. And can I deadlift? Because that's kind of lower end.
Yeah. Yeah, you could deadlift.
All right. Yeah, then I'm good.
Okay.
That's the only movement I need on this planet if that ever happens. So,
Okay. Did you go to summer school or summer camp as a kid?
I did.
No fucking
Yes,
way.
I did. Me and my brother went to summer camp when we were, I guess I would have been 5th grade and he would have been like 1st grade. And it was like up at this park every day. And like next to it was this farm park.
Okay.
And they had like goats and like cats and like all this shit. And like every day we would go to this farm park. And crazy story is that's how I got my first cat, is I stole it.
What?
You
stole a cat?
I stole the cat from the farm park, put it in my shirt, walked out with it, kept it in my shirt in front of all the teachers and shit all freaking day.
Oh.
My dad picks me up in his Jeep and I let the little dude's head pop out. His name was Milo from Milo Notice. You ever seen that movie?
No, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
but no,
dude.
I've never.
And I stole a fucking cat.
That
We
is
had that cat for so
funny.
long, dude. I
That is-
completely forgot we stole it actually until I just remembered.
Would you rather do machines or free weight?
Free weights. 100%.
Okay. Beyonce or Rihanna?
What's that?
Beyonce or Rihanna? If you had to listen to one forever.
Beyonce, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cars, trucks, or SUVs?
Cars.
Okay.
100.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac. 100%.
Would you rather take on a hippo or an alligator?
Oh, fuck. Dude. Those two are both savage.
Yo.
I mean, I would have to say alligator just because a lot of the times, depending on the environment, they're chill. If they're out of the water,
Okay.
you might be able to get a hold of them. But a hippo, dude, is going to fuck you up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Those things
have
are wild.
you seen that video where that boat is driving? It can only, or that boat's on the water going and the hippo's
It's chasing
fucking
him?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I saw
It's
I was
like,
like, whoa.
holy shit.
I didn't even know they could swim
Hippo
that
was
fast.
going like 30 mile an hour in
Yeah.
the water. The thing like weighs $2,000.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they have a
holy
stronger
shit.
bite force than an alligator too.
Oh, dude, it's
Oh,
And
insane.
they're way more vicious than
Oh,
alligators.
yeah.
Yeah,
dude. They're assholes.
Yeah.
Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Rock or rap?
A rock.
Boom.
100.
Yeah.
Good speed round, man.
Yeah.
I
Something to
kind of
get your,
slowed it down. but
yeah, something to get your brain going.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's
I
been
like
what,
it.
6 years since we've seen each other?
Oh, dude.
Catch me up. Okay, so
Easily 6 years.
there's been a lot of fucking time in between. So catch me up since I last saw you at LA Fitness to today's present time. Like what's
Oh,
happened in the
man.
last 6 years?
So much, dude. I mean, the journey of going after my acting career, which when I first came out, I mean, literally the only thing I had done was a Rawlings football commercial back in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
I was like their print work guy and their commercial guy for their marketing campaigns and stuff like that. And that's really all I had under my belt. And then, of course, I was just obsessed with like, fitness like crazy. Which I would definitely have to say it's still a part of my life, but it's not
Right.
like, I mean, I still do shoots and stuff whenever I'm asked. But dude, I mean, I'm not trying to like post a picture of myself shirtless every other day anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of grew out of that. And I realized, one thing that Plitt actually had said to me was like, hey man, if acting is really what you want to do, when he was alive, he said this,
Mhm.
if acting is really what you want to do, then you need to put all your eggs into that basket. Fitness is always going to be there. It's been a part of your life since you're a kid. You're always going to be in shape. That's no problem. But there is a dead end when it comes to the fitness industry and when it comes to the modeling and shit like that. Acting you can do forever. 80-year-olds are acting.
That's
you know,
true.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the acting is picked up. without like trying to pat myself on the back, it's been a crazy. It was.
I've seen
I didn't
you.
even
I
know
was like,
where to start.
Whoa.
When I first came out, I had no clue where to start. I had to realize how to make this happen.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it was trial and error. It was, you know, I came out like probably just like every other person, hoping to run into the right person, hoping to be able to work with the right person that would
Get
get
a
me
big
there.
break.
Get a big break, which is, it's a pipe dream. A big break is a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. You have to bust your ass. I remember the first year, I probably sent over 500 emails trying to get, you know, a casting director to see my headshot, or an agent, a manager. And, you know, I tried to work for free. You know, I did everything I could. Yeah. And, you know, I never took any acting classes. That's the crazy part. Edit that part out. No, just but
like my manager's gonna be fucking pissed.
It's just something that, you know, that's been in me. Like I can just turn it on. And over the years, I've just gotten better and better and better at it. Like I can feel it. Like I just did an audition like 2 days ago, and I sat and looked at it, and I'm like, it's the best I can put on the screen right now. That's the best.
Oh shit.
And I'm getting better and better, you know, like I'm to that point to where I feel so comfortable that at any moment, you know, I'm getting my feet in the door. At any moment, something big's going to come around. And I got a lot of stuff moving right now. Some of the stuff I can talk about, some of the stuff I can't, but and then of course, you know, Sarah and I, we're living together. We're going to be taking the next step here pretty soon. Not going to say when it's going to happen, but it will. It's going to happen.
Do we need to edit that one out?
Yo, Roscoe, you got to take this one out, dude.
Put your earbuds in right now, but mute, okay? Yeah, that's gonna. I mean, that at some point that's gonna happen very soon. She just got done doing her law school and all that stuff. She's graduated law school and stuff, so she's ready to rock and roll on that. I tried to get her into entertainment law, but she wants to pull back and do some other stuff, which it's what she wants to do. But I just figured I do have a lot of connects now. I can probably, you know, I work very closely with a producer right now, and he could probably get her into certain avenues and foot in the door in multiple places. But you know, she wants to go to a different route, which I got to follow your heart, man. That's what I did. That's what I did 7 years ago, and that's what I'm always going to do. Every decision I make is following the heart.
Because you're from Illinois, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. From East Peoria, Illinois is actually where I was.
How long did you you were raised there? Did you grow up there?
Yeah. So I grew up in East Peoria, Illinois. And then at 19 or 20, I decided to go to college. I went down to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, which is kind of closer to St. Louis, Missouri area. And that was in 2006, I believe. And, you know, I stayed down there for up until 2014. I lived down there. So, but yeah, I mean, always going back up to East Peoria pretty much every other weekend. You know, I'm real close with my family and stuff. And that's the hardest thing being out here. It's just being out here and away from family. I mean,
well, you're all by yourself and you don't have anybody. I mean, you can call people, but it's not the same as actually seeing them and hugging them and getting that connection with them.
Exactly.
You know, you can call on FaceTime, but it's not, you don't get the same feeling as you do person to person.
And I feel it like when I haven't been home, like I can feel it. Yeah. Like there will be a time that'll go by and it's just like this achy burn and I can feel it. And I'm like, okay. It's time to get back there soon.
How often do you go back
otherwise
home?
I get real irritable. I can feel it. Like I get irritable and I get like pissy and I just know, okay, I got to get back to my family here soon.
Yeah.
I would say I try to get back anywhere between every 6 months, 3 to 6 months. I try to get back.
That's not bad.
It really isn't. And you know, as much time as like I shot a movie last year in October, I think it was October or November. And it was in Alabama. And so the producer rented me a car and he said, you can fly if you want, but I wanted to have a car like to just drive around with anyway. Yeah. So they rented me a car and I had this like 6-day window to where I could drive. So I drove up there and surprised them.
Oh, that's cool.
And then hung out with them and then drove back down and finished filming. So it was kind of cool.
Damn. Yeah, it's crazy to when I first met you and to where I see you now. Like I saw you post a collage of videos. Yeah. You're like, hey, I was in this. So
my reel.
Yeah, you're real. Yeah. And this girl I was dating, she used to have me watch Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that. I was like, what? I was like, Zach was in Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
And I went back to the episode. I was like, wait, fucking light bulb click. I was like, yo, that's Zach. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. It's been surreal, man. I remember when I first, because that was kind of my, I did a small movie called Soul Hunters that was, real low budget. And, but I was a star of the movie and I learned so much in doing it, but that was like in 2016, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got Grey's Anatomy, it was either at the end of 16 or 2017.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that was like my first big thing, even though I only had like 5-7 lines, something like that. But dude, that was such a breakthrough for me when I got that. I remember my agent called me and I was working this security job. And because I was, trying to still keep ends meet. You got to, man.
You got to work.
And, the modeling and stuff, it's good money, but at the same time, it's not consistent. It bounces around. So I keep a job. I remember I got a call and I'm in this patrol car and I got a call from my manager and he's like, hey, you got a minute? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, because there's 2 of them.
Right.
And so he gets my other manager on the phone, Tyler, which Tyler's not with us anymore, but not like dead. She's just not with the company anymore.
Whoa, okay.
But they were like, okay, he's like, hey, Tyler, you on the phone? I'm like, yeah. Or she's like, yeah. And he's like, Zach, you there? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, are they about to fucking fire me right now? What the fuck's going on? Like, they letting me go?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to say congratulations, you booked Grey's Anatomy. And dude, like,
what?
Instant tears, bro.
No way.
Because I just had worked so hard, dude. Like, and I literally just uprooted my entire life to come out here and do this. And so that was, even though it was just such a small part, man, it was such a big win for me. And then after Grey's Anatomy, because it's just kind of a known TV series, it just kind of picked up.
Fucking big, dude.
Stuff just kind of picked up. I probably get mostly known from Lucifer over Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I'm in a gas station. Somebody's like, I just watched Lucifer the other day. Are you that dude on Lucifer? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
No fucking
I get that
way.
all the time.
You're on that show?
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I've never watched it.
Oh, dude, it's a good show. It's
Really?
actually a good show. So
I've heard it was a really good show.
I actually learned from Grey's Anatomy to do a little bit of my homework before I start working on a show because my scenes were with Teddy, and Teddy's a chick.
Mhm.
And up until I had the scene, I thought Teddy was a dude. So I go
You
on
fucked
set.
up there.
Yeah, dude, I fucked up hardcore. I'm in the makeup trailer and like getting everything put on, and they're doing my hair and shit, which they fucking cut my hair down to nothing because it was I play like a military sergeant,
Right.
and it's like I had a fucking helmet on the whole time, guys. Did you have to really cut my hair down to nothing? Like, literally, I mean nothing. I was close to bald, dude. I'm not even kidding. I was so pissed. But
That is awesome.
But anyways, I'm sitting there and the lady's like, oh, aren't you so excited? Your scenes are with Teddy. Like, that's so cool. And I was like, yeah, where is he? And she's like, oh, you don't watch the show, do you? And I'm like, no. She goes, honey, Teddy's a girl.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
shit.
fuck. Damn. I felt so stupid. So ever since then,
That is
when I
awesome.
found out I booked Lucifer, I watched, like, me and Sarah watched a couple episodes just to kind of get a feel of the show. And then
Right.
same thing with Dave. Like,
Right.
Dave, I didn't have a chance to watch. I had no clue who Little Dicky was until I booked that show. I had no idea. No.
That is funny.
I told my brother, hey, I just booked this Little Dicky show. And he's like, what? Little Dicky? Like the rapper Little Dicky? I go, I don't know.
It's
I
like
get-
whoever he is.
Sure. And he goes, holy fuck, dude. You know that guy's like wildly famous on YouTube, like huge rapper, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? So I start Googling and his videos have like 300 million views.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had no idea. And so then when I walk on set, I'm expecting like this dude to be an asshole.
Yeah.
By far not. I mean, was one of the most humble, awesome guys I've ever worked with. Him and
Really?
Nick Jonas are the most humble, best people I've ever worked with.
Really?
100%. And
Damn.
both of them are, keep hitting this fucking thing.
It's all good.
Both of them are huge. Like,
Yeah.
they're huge status,
Yeah.
And so you would expect them to be assholes, dude. Because I've met people where, like, I'm expecting they're going to be amazing. And then I'm like, wow, that dude was a dick. And then you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's, and I'm not going to say names, but
Right.
some of the people that I've worked with that have some big names have been fucking amazing. And then other people that like I really looked up to, I'm just like, dude, I will never act like that when I reach your status, ever.
Yeah.
Like I know exactly the example that I want to set for every freaking person that watches me, and it ain't that. Like, and that's another thing I'm always teeter-tottering with is I'm a very, I guess, outspoken person, and it's hard for me to keep things in.
Right.
Like,
You say what you feel.
Yeah. It's very hard. My filter is very minimal.
Yeah.
And thank God I have, one of the producer buddies that I'm, good buddies with, Warner. He's always like, put me in my place a little bit in that spot.
You need that.
But yeah, thank God. But I fight a lot with, do I go with how I really feel here, or do I just kind of shut up and go with the flow because I haven't really made it yet? And I always try to go the latter, man. I always try to stick with who I am, because at the end of the day, if I don't do that, when it comes down to the nitty gritty real decisions of my career, I'm always going to fuck up. Always. Yeah. If I make the wrong decision on the littlest stuff. So I always got to stick to my guns, man. You always got to stick to your heart, who you really are deep in here when making a decision, as opposed to everything out here. Because it shouldn't change. Who you are up here and who you are down here, it shouldn't change. It should always be consistent when you have the highest of highs in your life or the lowest of lows. You can't change with that. You got to stay,
you got
consistent.
to stay true to who you are.
Yeah,
and I think with you too, because you got a lot of these actresses and singers, especially, they start when they're young. So they don't have a perspective on life to grasp onto. It's not like you or me were like,
we've went through the lows.
Yeah, we've all went through the lows. I'm almost 30. You're at that age where you've been through shit, and now you're starting you're starting to blossom up. But you have a grasp on life. You have a grasp on reality. You have a grasp on how to act and how to treat people and how to be nice to people and not to take shit from other people. You know, so it's
at the end of the day, man. You got to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, there's like something I think about all the time. When you get into an argument with somebody and at the time you can't come up with like that perfect comeback. But then like 30, 40 minutes later, you're sitting there thinking, man, fuck, I should have said that.
You're like,
I should have said this and I should, you know what I mean? Like,
it comes up later.
But if you think about that mentality, you don't want to be doing that in the mirror before bed, based upon a decision that you made for your life, based upon exterior circumstances. Everything should be interior. Everything that you make should be where you want to go, because otherwise, man, what you're building a foundation on sand, and at some point it will fucking fall.
Yeah,
it will fall, and you see it in Hollywood all the time. You really do. Yeah. You see guys that are one pump chumps. They do something really big, and then they have no work whatsoever. Or same with the female, and a lot of the times, and I know, and people I've worked with. People I've just worked with recently, that I'm talking about, they were huge before, but because they got a little bit of fame and they let it go to their head, now it's hard for them to get work. Nobody wants to fucking work with an asshole.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I
don't know. It doesn't, because you see them on screen and you think, especially that the role they're playing too, because that has a lot to do with how you're connecting with the person. You don't know what's going on behind the big screen, right? So you see a girl or a guy and they play a good role and you're like, damn, that's a good person.
That's a good person.
But it's not that person.
Yeah.
They're just playing a fucking character. And then behind the scene, they're yelling at their manager or cussing out the person because they got the wrong slice of pizza or whatever the case may be. I think that's the shittiest part too.
It is, man. Like, specifically there's a guy that I worked with and on set, because an extra did not know that he was the lead in the show, he flipped the fuck out and had her thrown off the show.
What?
Yeah. So basically, she walked up, said, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Who are you?" And he basically yelled out, "Can we get somebody around that knows what the fuck they're doing around here, knows what's going on?"
Whoa.
See it. There's people out there like that, man. And then there's been sets I worked on where people are just amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Just absolutely amazing. Like Dave was like that. Everybody everybody was so like good, and there was such synergistic dominance there. Like everybody was working in conjunction to everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted everybody to put their best foot on the screen. And you know, the director was amazing. He was like, let's try this. Okay, Zach, let's try that. All right, Dave, Dickie, try this. You know,
Yeah.
what, you know.
Yeah.
And like that's the fun shit. That's
Yeah.
when the real magic happens, when like directors and productions just let it happen. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is about making money, and there are people that bring a lot of money. And I'm just now getting to play into the producer card with some, you know, certain projects and stuff. So I'm learning a lot in that sense.
Yeah.
And I understand also why there's so many checks and balances on that way, because
Right.
somebody's putting up the freaking $50 million and they got to get it back,
Yeah.
you know? So I got to understand the business aspect too. So you have to kind of find that happy medium. You just can't project everything artistically. There has to be that understanding that, okay, certain elements have to change because of certain things. And it may be whatever's going on in society that day,
Yep.
which is sad,
Yep.
but unfortunately it's the world we live in, and everybody still has to stay in business.
Is it going to be socially like, acceptable?
Exactly.
You know, like, is it going to play a key role into what's going out in modern day society?
Exactly.
Is it going to relate to what's going on in the world today?
Big.
You know, and that's the craziest shit. Cause I see that now that you're saying that, I'm like rethinking and rewinding my mind. And it's so fucking true the way you say that. In 10 years of a span, movies have changed from 2010 and 2020. Like,
Right.
you can kind of go back and see how movies were made then in the early 2000s and then how they're made now. It's like, whoa, like shit has changed
Right.
a fucking fuck ton.
Well, and,
like
and there's some
180.
great things to it too.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, like if we're working on a film and we're like, okay, look, you know, we need to get some, you know, different races in here.
Right.
Like, and
Yeah.
it's open to that now.
Yeah.
That's amazing
Yeah,
now. Like
I love that.
it's starting to get to the point to where people are getting a voice. I mean, you have people that are now starting to lead that have never had these opportunities to
Yep.
lead, these vehicles to make change and reach a different audience that people have never been reached to before.
Yeah.
So there is some great things to it, but then there's also some bad things to it where it's like, really, man, like we just want to tell a story. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a story. It's not real life. Like,
Mhm.
so we don't always have to be conducive to what everybody thinks it should be. So again, that's where, you know, you teeter-totter.
It's
you
that
know?
gray area where
Yep.
it's
Life is a gray
Yeah,
area,
it's
man.
like, wait, what do I do? It's that split decision
Everything's
moment.
subjective.
Yeah,
man, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
How does that feel though? Because I mean, if people are noticing you now, you're kind of a role model a bit to where people.
I mean, I wouldn't say people are like noticing me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not to the point to where, you know, like somebody, but I do get it now a lot more than I ever thought I would.
Right.
I mean, but it feels pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie at times, but at the same time, it's more along the lines when I get it, I'm like, oh, it just makes me want to work even harder, dude. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
if that's one person that I can reach and change their lives even for a brief second, dude, I'm winning. That's a win. You know, my biggest thing is my biggest thing as to why I'm doing this is if my farm boy ass can come out here from Illinois and attack an impossible dream, and I'm now finally starting to penetrate, and maybe I've only even barely scratched the surface, but that's now in time forever. Those movies, those little parts that I've done are there forever now. We're in a time and an era where my great grandkids are going to be able to see my social media, are going to be able to see me on TV. You know what I mean?
That's fucking
And
wild,
you know
dude.
what? If that helps just one person, and maybe it's only in my family, if that helps one person now stand up and say, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. And so I'm going to go do that. Maybe they want to lose 15 pounds. Maybe they want to go for a promotion at work. Maybe they want to rekindle things with their mom and dad, whatever it is.
Yeah. If
that one little millisecond of thought comes in because of something that I contributed to, that's all worth it, man. I don't care if I make $10 or 10 million or 100 million, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, if I never went into this for the money.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, dude, and especially with modeling, you don't make shit.
Really?
I mean, like I'm on.
I've
all these-
always thought you made pretty good.
I mean,
decent amount there.
it depends what you're doing. Like, but like I've been on numerous book covers. I'm not going to disclose how much that I make, but
Right.
let me tell you this. It's not what you think. I mean,
Damn.
if for a day you're like, okay, that's not bad.
Right.
But at the same time, like when you're on a New York bestseller cover and you're only getting paid, fuck it, I'll just $250 for the 2 hours. And the New York bestseller is selling the book. A New York bestseller. That means they're selling millions upon millions upon millions of copies for $10 a piece. And you make $250.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I never got into it for money. None of this was for money. It's always been something bigger. Kind of almost in a sense fighting for that eulogy, fighting for that, whoever stands up and speaks my name for the last time, that kind of deal. That's the thing I'm fighting for. They say that you die twice in this world. Once when you take your last breath and once when someone speaks your name for the last time. Well, if I can hold that second death off for as long as possible, then that's to me worth living for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to think about some of the things, some of the people that have stamped their name into life forever. Albert Einstein, like, Nikola Tesla, people like that. They will never go anywhere.
Nope.
They are stamped.
Yeah, they're stamped in life. And that's the one thing about you too is your work mentality. Like your work mentality and your drive has been one thing I've noticed about you. Like you have no off switch.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You don't. You just keep going. And I'm like, fuck, Zach's working. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, it's cool because it also puts it in perspective as a role model to where you're at now, what you can achieve in 10 years, and then look back on it. If people notice you, that's a good set example to kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
what hard work can
this guy didn't get shit handed to him. He worked his fucking ass off. He worked 24/7 to get where he's at today, and it's paid off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he went through a bunch of stuff. Now, like nothing's ever gonna get handed to me. I know that now.
Yeah.
And that's just some.
And at the end of the day, you can look yourself in the eye for that. Even if I always have this, saying. I got a guy I talk to at work. His name's Harry. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And he's almost like kind of a second father figure in a way because my dad's back home and I've always been close to. Me and Sarah were just cracking up about this the other day. She's like, all your friends are old. Like
that's a fucking good thing.
I'm like, dude, because like I love old people, man, because they've walked the block, dude. They've seen things that's who you learn from, bro. Ask those questions. Like, especially after I lost my grandpa like a year and a half in May, and he was like the closest person in the world to me. I mean, he was the guy that I was always, hey, Pop, watch this. Hey, Pop, watch this. I mean, that started me wanting to always do something with myself started from, hey, Pop, watch how long I can hold my breath under the water for, shit like that.
Yeah.
And, but anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I just feel like you can learn so much from them, even if it doesn't matter what they're doing with their life. Like, it doesn't matter if they've done something massive, doesn't matter if they're working at Walmart, dude, you can learn so much from that. And there's something to be said about somebody with consistency and still shows up, gets up, goes to work, puts a smile on their face and does it no matter what, no matter how hard it is, whatever. But I'm talking to this guy, at work and, I've got this saying, where was I going with that? There was a saying that he was saying to me and now I'm losing it because we got off on a tangent. I got off on a tangent. That's one thing I do. I get off.
It's all good. That's what the show's about.
But damn, what was I saying?
Tangents and rants.
You know what? I'll come back to it. But it's something that he was telling me, and it'll pop in my head, and then I'll stop. I'll come back and grab it.
No, that's a good idea because that's how I am. I mean, I have my core group of friends that are like brothers, right?
Yeah.
If you look at us hanging out together, we're basically like frat brothers. We just fuck around and dick around. But I also have those older mentor type people as well that I look up to because, like you said, they've been through shit.
Yeah.
No matter what their status is or hierarchy is in life, they've been through a bunch of shit and they have all like every bit of wisdom to give to you, no matter what it is about life, relationships or goals or whatever you're going through. They might have been through the same thing, but they might tell you to take a different route than what you were thinking in the first place. And I think that's the main thing too. With all this social media and stuff going on, like, a lot of people look towards fake figures
Oh, dude. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Instagram and all that, there's so much bullshit in there. I mean,
Yeah.
so much. So much to the point to where, I have to admit, back in the day when I was doing a lot of fitness stuff, I mean, that was like, I got to post this, I got to post that. And it's like, it literally, you become a slave to it. If
Yeah.
you're thinking in your mind, how am I going to get the most likes? How am I going to get the most comments? And how am I going to get the most people to come to my channel? And my thing now is, if you don't want to look at it, don't look at it. And if you do, congrats. I'm glad that you did. And I hope it does something for you. But I'm not going to change anything that I say to try to grab your attention. Either you see it or you don't. That organic material is the best way to go. And it's just so unorganic on there. I mean, posting on fucking Instagram and Facebook to begin with is so unorganic if you think about it. But at the end of the day, this is where we're going with the times. And you have to become a chameleon in certain ways, going with the times. Everybody evolves. Exactly. So I can see it. But, my thing is that I've tried to do is now just document my journey as opposed to trying to find the best picture to post, if that makes sense. Or,
no, it does.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Exactly
this is what's going on now. Document it,
Right.
But I just remembered what I was going to say.
Okay.
So I told Harry, because, Harry, he's just such a good dude. And he's kind of the same thing. He's like, dude, if I would have had your work ethic and your drive and you just don't stop. I said, yeah, it's called ADHD. But, but no, I said, I told him, and this is the truth. I'm willing to die for this. Like, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to one day hang up the gloves of going after this dream. I made the decision to do it 6 years ago, and it's going to get done, and I will die doing it. And I'm not going to have a plan B. I'm not going to have a C. I'm not going to have a D, E, F, whatever. And I have a master's degree. I have 2 master's degrees. I got a bachelor's degree. Like, I want to do this, and it's going to happen. And I think that conviction has to be there with anything that you do.
Right.
Like I said, whether if you work at Walmart, Best Buy, you want to be an actor, musician, it's got to be love, man. It's got to be something, and you can find love in things.
Yeah.
If your internal drive is to, take care of your family and you have to work a job that you don't necessarily like, there's nothing wrong with that, man. You
It's
can
that
find
why
that
factor.
love. Yes.
Yeah, it's that why am I doing this? What's
underlying
the reason?
motivation?
Yeah, it's the reason behind why you're doing this. It's the reason why you're working that shitty job. Well, I'm working the shitty job to help my family out because I love them.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, too, where I see, and what I was kind of getting at with the Harry thing is, you have time. You do have time other than that job.
Mhm.
You do. The problem is that you're stuck in the cog in the wheel and thinking that after my 8-hour day, now I can go home, watch my soap operas, eat my cereal, whatever it is, and that's it. But that's where the real fun begins. I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 6 years, to where I'll work 40 hours a week on a job I don't like, just so I can go home and work on the shit that I love and build my life.
Right.
And that's something that I took from Gary Vee. If you ever,
dude, I love Gary Vee.
Yeah,
that guy's fucking amazing.
Because just think about it. Even if you were to go home and work on it 2 hours a day, 14 hours a week, right?
It adds up, and you're adding up hours to what you want to do in your life forever.
Right.
You're growing that, and that's where a lot of, I think it as a millennial too. Kids now, they want to do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And they expect the maximum of gratitude.
Same with being in the gym.
It's like they expect that, like the 8 to 5. Okay, I'm going to go to work to 8 to 5. That's it. I'm going to hang up whatever it is, and I'm just going to sit tight. I was like, what else do you have going in your life? Yeah. You expect A through Z, and you're not even on A. How the fuck are you going to get to Z? Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And that's the problem with kind of society. Like my grandfather, so my pop worked into construction, and he did that. He worked 7 days a week, and he would work 7 days a week for at least a year at a time. Take a week off and do that.
Sounds like my pop.
But he worked his fucking ass off, and now he has a nice house. He has nice cars. He worked his ass off for it. He didn't ask for handouts. He went and got it, just like you did. I just think the work ethic with my generation and the generation below us it's gone so shitty, especially with social media too. Like they expect everything handed to them.
I can tell you right now, you and I are blessed that we had our grandpas, because that's why we have the work ethic that we have.
Yeah.
Because they're the era where that shit was built.
Dude, those were men.
And anybody that was fortunate enough and blessed enough to have that time with their grandparents, if they were smart enough to listen and watch, they should have some of those elements within themselves, and then they can go out and replicate the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, my grandpa was the same way, man. I mean, he owned his own business, worked. I mean, from what I've been told, you know, he closed the business back in 1997, so I was super young. But from what I was told, I mean, there were times where he would be there for 16 to 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, closing it, doing everything. And he sold, you know, tractors, trailers, and lawn mowers, and plants and flowers and fruits and shit. And, you know, that's probably not fun, you know, but he knew that if he busted his ass, he could do what nobody else in our family had done.
Right.
And he did. He made a nest egg. I mean, that dude was the rock of our family. He made a nest egg and showed us all that it was possible.
Yeah.
You know, but you gotta, you know, like I said, we're blessed. We're blessed in that sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm grateful so my grandfather is still around, thank God, but he's getting up there, and that's the scariest thing.
Take time, dude.
Yeah.
As much as you can, because you know, it's when it hits you, like, I mean, that dude, there's no other person on this planet that I was more close to. Nobody. I mean, I talked to him every single day that I was out here.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's still times that I think, man, I wish I called him a little more. I wish I did that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I know that the reason it hurts so bad is because we earned that. We earned that hurt, because you can't have that hurt unless you had love times a million. It's like anything in life, man. To hit the highest of highs in life, you have to hit the lowest of lows, and vice versa. So for things to feel so good, you have to know what it feels like where it fucking hurts. It sucks, and vice versa, man. But I'm just telling you, man, take that time for granted. Like, don't take that time for granted. I mean, just go to it and just be in the moment, because were times, like we were in Maui about 2 months before he passed, and I was in the midst of writing a script, and so my head was kind of in it, and you know, I just think sometimes, like, oh damn, I wish I would have just kind of set that aside, really took it in, because you never know, man. I mean, I got woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, told that he's gone, and you know, it was just that's the real real parts of life, not, you know, oh, this sucks, I got to go to work. And just like losing something you're never going to get back again. That's the shit but that's what we live for, man. That's what makes everything so great.
Yeah. My grandparents basically raised me.
See, that's amazing. Mine did too. But well, I mean, my mom and dad raised me too, but I was with my grandparents 24/7.
That's how I am. And my grandfather taught me everything. He taught me from how to change a battery into a car, to changing an engine out of a car, to rebuilding a car, to fucking mixing asphalt. To like, he's taught me so much shit that kids now have no idea to even to screw in a fucking light bulb on his ceiling. You know, it's it's true.
So true, man.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, you ask a fucking kid to do something, he has no idea what to do. But luckily,
he'll jump on his iPad and fucking download something as quick as possible and show it. You know what I mean?
You know, but I'm fortunate and grateful enough that he's taught me all that. You know, and I take that with me to heart. And even still, reiterating on the old teaching the young, it's just that wise mentality that they've gone through so much shit, and they have a lot to teach you. You know, like, even still, my grandfather, like, we'll be eating at the dinner table. He's like, I remember this one time, and he'll go on a rant. I'm like,
tangent.
And I'm like,
every story has multiple stories added onto it. Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, you did that? He's like, yeah, didn't I tell you? I was like, no. I was like, you got a fucking new story every day.
Yeah. I used to have those, man.
It's so funny.
And those are the best times. Those are the times you remember. Like, let me ask you this. Dude, when you called them, my grandma and grandpa, my nana and pop, they had been together since they were 12. And
shit.
He died at 81.
Whoa.
And so they, me and Sarah got to spend their 60th wedding anniversary with them. I mean, in Maui,
That's cool.
We watched them do their vow renewals in Maui at a church back in 2016.
Damn.
And it was the coolest thing ever. But let me ask you, if your people do this, your grandma and grandpa, do they ever get on the phone with you at the same time, one in one room, one in the other?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like they literally, you're talking to them and you're like, wait, what? Okay, go back. Wait,
Yeah.
huh? And then it's always like the story goes like, so today, me and your grandmother, we went down. We got, some we got something to eat before we were going to Home Depot. We were going to Home Depot to get some grass.
Dude, that sounds like my grandpa.
And then, so we stopped and get some food, and I had the shrimp. Donna, what did you have? She had the hot dog. But at any rate, let me get to the actual story. So we're in the Home Depot parking lot, and I'm driving, and this car pulls out in front of me. And it's what kind of car was that, Donna? What was that? Was that a Silverado? I think it was a Silverado. Let's see. The Silverado was made back in what? That's literally how it goes, dude.
It's fucking
and
true.
Every story has an arc and a new tangent story to connect it. And at the end, you go, so Pop, what's the conclusion? Well, I told you earlier what the conclusion was. No, I got 10 conclusions.
That is,
they do that to you? Because they still have a landline, of course.
Yeah.
So they're on one.
Dude, yeah.
And they're in one room. One's in one room. The other's in the other room.
Yeah. Oh,
Cardinal games playing. You can hear it going on in both rooms.
We barely took, because I live with him. But when I do call him, it's exactly like that. Or they'll be on, so my grandpa still has a flip phone. He's like,
that's so do they. Dude, my grandmother just got rid of her flip phone. She had a track phone for the longest time. Like, Zachary, can you help me load the minutes onto the phone? I need you to load the minutes. Well, Nana, how many do you have left? It says we only have 1,000 left. Nana, you just bought 1,200 minutes like a year ago. You've only used 200 minutes. Why do you need to get more minutes?
That is so funny.
Dude, they say that it expires in 2 weeks. Like,
No,
it's the best.
Yeah,
man.
my grandpa, he had the old school, I don't know if you guys remember these, the old school Motorola walkie-talkie phones where it goes,
the Zach Morris phone.
Yeah.
Freaking block. The block phone,
he had
dude.
that for a fucking long period of time, and he got rid of that, I think, like 9 or 10 years ago because they stopped making it and they were going to stop.
Yeah, probably can't even connect anymore.
Yeah. So he's like, fuck, I got to go get a new one. So he got a flip phone. But when I'm calling him, he'll put it on speaker and he'll be talking. And then my grandma will say something. He'll be like, shh, Rosie. And then they'll talk over each other.
Then they'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, guys, I'm still on the phone.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, so what do we need from the store again? Like, what do you guys do?
They go to the store every day.
Yeah.
It's like, can't you just go to the store once a week and get everything you need? No, you guys go every day. It's based upon the one item that you needed to go for.
Fuck.
And just because Costco has cheap gas, they're going to drive an extra 15 miles all the way down to Costco to get it because then they can fill up on gas to save freaking $1.10.
That's true. It's funny.
You just wasted that gas when you drove down there.
It's fucking true because I'll tell they do that. Yeah. It's cheaper at Stater Brothers. I was like, well, by how much? They're like 10 cents.
Yeah. Exactly. But you know what? In a way, man, that's what makes it so amazing.
Papa, I was like, you're spending more on gas to get there.
Yes.
And Vaughn's is 2 minutes away. I don't like those people anyways.
Yeah. Last time I was at Vaughn's, we had a terrible experience.
Yeah.
That's literally,
They didn't stock my one type of bread.
It'd be like this. We had been going to this pizza place in East Peoria whenever I'd go back. And this pizza place has been around since my pop first opened up his store. It's called Dave's Brothers. And it's amazing. But they only have it in East Peoria, Illinois. They only have it there. And this dude's been going there for 60 something years. He has one bad experience where the pizza was burnt and he didn't like the salad. nah, we're not going to that place anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to Mickey's Pizzeria
Yeah.
now. Like literally, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how
It's
they
like, Pop, I really want some Davis Bros. I've been aching for it the last 3-4 months. I haven't been home. Nope, I'm not walking in there. Like literally. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
how my grandpa is, dude.
Yep.
It's fucking funny because I look at him and I'm like,
so stubborn, but that's what's made him.
yeah,
you
and
know?
I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna be me. Like I know, I already, I fucking know. I was like, I'm gonna be that. Like
Yeah.
I'll accept it right now. Like
I
that's
already
gonna,
see like certain things I do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's my pop right.
yeah, like I'll do some shit, and my grandma's like, you know, you're just like a grandfather, and I'm like, oh fuck,
Oh,
it's
fuck.
starting,
Yeah.
it's fucking starting, and then she'll tell my grandpa, he's like, I told you.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
it's
Ah,
it's wild.
That's
man.
why I love old people, man.
Yeah, it's just it's wisdom and it's everything that they bring to the table. You
Yeah.
know, they're the glue. You know,
Yep.
they're the glue to everything, and especially in the families too.
Yep.
They're the glue to everybody. Like anybody in the family or their friends can go to them with any type of situation, and they always have the right thing to say. They
the
always
wisdom,
know what
the
to say at
guidance.
what time. You know, they're like my grandparents are old, but they're still sharp.
Yeah.
You know, mentally they're still sharp, and
Yeah,
they
my
know
pop
what's
was
going
sharp up until even the last day. I mean, he was sharp. It's just he got, he had lung cancer back in like 2005, and they got a portion of his lung cut out, and it just caught up to him, you know.
on. Yeah.
But I'm thankful that he had his mind. You know,
Yeah.
I never had to watch him lose his mind. I think that would have been really hard.
Yeah.
That would have been really hard on me.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, another thing is looking at grandparents and looking at old people. I think the reason that I really am moved by it is, that's me. That's going to be us someday. And it's really kind of nobody really looks at it into that actual perspective. Realistically, you are back in the back of your brain. You're thinking that, and I think that's why we appreciate it so much, because we know that's where we're going. But you want motivation, that's it. If you need motivation to go to the gym, or you need motivation to change your life, or you need motivation to do whatever, make up with that person, this person, whatever it is, it's because you're going to fucking die. I mean, you're going to be right there. And every day that window is just closing and closing and closing. And we run around like it's an inexhaustible well, and it's not. I mean, there's a quote that I love. I don't know if you've heard it before, but there's a quote that I love. I don't know who actually said it, but Brandon Lee says it in one of his interviews. And he says, in life, we get to think of life as an exhaustible well, and things only happen a certain number of times. And everybody seems to think it's infinite. And a lot of small things, and it's a lot of times that are certain little small times that it happens. Like, how many times will you see a full moon rise? Or how many times will you see the sunset? Perhaps in your lifetime, 20, 30, 40. But yet, when you see it, it just feels like it's just limitless. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's crazy.
And so he says it a million times better than I just butchered it. But basically, it's just saying, like, we take all this little stuff that, like, a sunrise is dope to watch.
Oh, fuck
But
yeah.
I mean, how many
Every
times
morning.
have you really watched one, and like really, really, really watched one? I mean, a perfect example is when I first came out here, man, I was moved like crazy by the mountains and the palm trees.
Yeah.
I was always fucking looking at the mountains. And now I just drive by them, and I have to kind of almost pull myself back in to go, man, these used to get you going, bro. Like,
Right.
I would get fired up to kill the day just by looking at mountains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just, you got to always try to bring yourself back to that place to where you realize, okay, I started to lose myself. Everybody does it. Everybody loses their
You're
self
right.
a little
That's
bit.
where I was gonna get to.
Everybody gets there where they kind of just get into it. They hit that pilot mode. But I think life, in my mind, is understanding how to get yourself out of certain modes, because everybody can go into a depression. Everybody can, get cognizant. Everybody can just kind of go into pilot mode. But knowing how to pull yourself out, that's what separates, man. And in my opinion, knowing how to put yourself in a specific mindset to get certain things done in life, that's the difference, dude.
I look at that as like the main driver too, because like you said, everybody gets depressed, everybody gets sad, everybody gets mad. But how are you using that emotion in a positive way to help you drive to something that you want to accomplish? Are you driving it? Are you taking that emotional driver and are you making it into a good thing, or are you making it into a bad thing? And are
Right.
you sinking yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into your little emotional hole?
Right.
Or are you crawling out of it and getting shit done?
Right.
That's what separates like the average people to the great people.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and I've had to learn it too. I've never been perfect. We've all had to eventually have a talk with ourselves and figure out, wow, I'm such a little bitch.
Dude, you hit
You
the
know,
nail on the head
I'm
there.
I'm such a little bitch. Like,
that's
what am I
needs to
doing? What
happen
am I
more
fucking
often.
doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm literally crying about something external that really has no meaning to me or isn't
Yeah.
gonna help me with my lifestyle in any way, and I'm crying about it.
Right.
You know, I mean, if something happens in your life that's very major, like, yeah, it hits differently.
Yeah.
But eventually you're gonna have to get over it. Eventually you're gonna have to fucking suck it up and
Be a
keep
man.
moving.
Yep.
Man up.
Yep.
Don't be a little bitch and keep moving. I've had that. Like, what was it? When I was 17, 18, I was a little bitch kid. And my first job was at Vaughn's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking hated it there. And I was like, fuck this place. And I would just, everything was everybody else's fault. And I think I had
That entitlement.
yeah. So I felt very entitled. And then a switch turned on probably 2 or 3 years later. And my grandfather actually talked to me. He's like, hey, this isn't going to get you anywhere in life.
Mm-hmm.
Blaming other people for your doings isn't going to get you shit. It's not going to get you anything. It's not going to get you a career, the job you want, the girl you want, the car, whatever the case may be. You're still going to be in the same position where you are now. So you either A, need to change how you think. Yeah, shit's going to happen to you, but you need to find that motivational driver to have that either affect you in a good way or in a bad way. You make the decision. Decision's up to yours. It's nobody else's fault but yours.
Yep. At the end of the day, just accepting that responsibility, that's what makes the
100%.
difference. And the problem is we live in a society where we're almost
I see it every
we're being
day.
conditioned to think that it's always somebody else's fault. That they're,
Yes.
and the problem is if you don't, like, thank God I, for one, had my grandparents, but thank God, and you probably too, we had sports.
Yeah.
I had martial arts. I mean, I started martial arts when I was 4.
Yeah.
And, I don't know what I would be if I would have never started martial arts. Because, I mean, I could hone in on this like id inside myself. Like I could hone in on my true thoughts on what really I wanted or what really I was feeling, as opposed to the external force that was coming in and making me make decisions, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
I could feel that so early to where, like, peer pressure didn't penetrate me at all. There was never a time. I was always the recluse. I was always the one to question things. And I swear to God, it's, for one, my grandpa was stubborn as shit, and I always seen him do that. But I swear it's sports too, man. I feel like when you play a sport and you realize that,
especially a combat sport.
Yes. And you realize that you are only going to get better if you train and practice physically and mentally. And life is like that too. You are only going to get better if you accept your faults. If you are blinded by your faults, you can never see it. Like the ant down here never realizes everything that's going on. It's one foot in front of the other, find food, blah, blah, blah. What I'm trying to say is, if you're not understanding that there's all these other possibilities and subjective perspectives out here, then you're losing. Like, you've got to always look inside first and realize, like, okay, this is how I try to do it. Okay, what am I doing first? What am I doing that needs to change? Yeah. And again, it goes back to sports, man, because I was only going to get better if I trained, if I looked how much I sucked. You have the first, I mean, there's some true conviction and there's like a power in just saying, I suck at this, because you know what? That's where you are. That's not where you're going to be. So accepting that's fucking power. Yeah. So don't give your power away. So when shit's happening to you in your life and you're blaming and all this shit, dude, you're giving your fucking power away.
Boom. Yeah.
Like, you're giving that away.
Agreed.
I would rather say, you know what? Even when it's not my fault, I'll fucking take it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to blast through it and I'm going to be more powerful from it. I want my power. Don't fucking take my power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
I'd rather have that.
Yeah, I totally get it. Fucking hit the nail right on the head. Sports helped me too. So I wrestled for 6 years.
Yeah, so did I. I wrestled all growing up too.
And one thing it taught me, I mean, team sports are cool, but one thing that differentiates combat sports from team sports, it's 1-on-1. It's not 11 on 11.
It's not a team. Yeah.
It's not 5
I mean,
on 5.
we of course have dual meets and,
right.
You know, but
in the end, it's you against that one other person. There's no fucking participation trophies. There's a loser and a winner.
Yep.
You're going to be either
That's
one
how
or
it is
the
in
other.
wrestling. That's why I feel like wrestling is one of the best sports too. I mean,
yeah.
Because, dude, it's not like, you know, the fucking baseball team to where everybody gets a participation trophy if you went through. You know what I mean? Like
fucking bad news
you know
bears
what I'm
on
saying?
left
Yeah,
field.
you know, it's with wrestling. What happens if you don't make weight? You don't wrestle.
Yeah.
What happens if the guy below you that's on junior varsity comes up and beats you? You lose your spot.
Yeah. That's
It's
the way
fucking
it is.
straight up.
It's
There's no
black and white.
politics. He beats you. He wrestles in your spot for 2 weeks. You guys can wrestle back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was always that guy that I was always trying to fucking go up. Always trying. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Always. But you're right, man. Combat sports make a big deal.
That's what it is.
Can you take a punch in the fucking face?
Yeah. Can you take a punch?
You know?
Can you get slammed? Like, I've blacked out. Some kid suplexed me so hard that I've blacked out. You have to be able. I'm not saying every kid should like fucking black out, but I'm saying like you have to go.
You need
through,
your bell rung.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get checked.
It's funny.
You need to get checked.
I had an incident happen. You know, I started in Taekwondo when I was 4, and I'm thankful my instructor was not the type to like sell black belts. I mean, I started when I was 4. I didn't get my black belt till I was 16.
Damn.
But you know what? When I was fucking 12, fighting kids at purple belt that had been in for 6 months, guess who was wiping the floor with them?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad literally had to put me up 2 years in weight, or 2 years in, because they had age classes, not weight classes back then.
Oh, shit.
I was fighting kids, and this is where I realized it. I was like 14 or 15. And I went in and I'm fighting this state tournament. And I'm like, I went to school with one of the kids there.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid's a fucking senior. And I'm a fucking freshman.
Oh, shit.
And so I said to my dad, how the fuck am I fighting him? This dude's like, I mean, dude, I didn't hit my growth spurt till I was fucking junior year. I was
Damn.
like 5'1". This kid was like 6 foot. Might as well have been just 7 foot.
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
And my dad finally told me, he's like, we've been putting you up 2 years ahead of, you know, every single time. When you were 10, you were fighting 12-year-olds. When you were 8, you were fighting 10-year-olds. And that's what made me so good.
Yeah.
And thank God I had an instructor, but I was put in my place one time. And I still remember this to this day, man. I was probably 10 or 12. And I was going for my red belt. I think I was 12. I was going for my red belt. And I had a good buddy of mine, Ryan, and a good buddy of mine, Justin. And my instructor's like, you guys are going to do these forms as a team. And if you don't all finish them at the right time and get everything done at the right time, one person fucks up, everybody pays for it, because I want you guys to work as a team. Well, I was the type of kid my dad had me after school. I was in Taekwondo class at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
I had another class at 5:30. And then I had the adult class at 6:30.
Jesus.
That's what it was every single day of my life up until I was about 16. That's how it was.
Fuck.
And there were times where I loved it and there were times I hated it. However, because I felt like I missed my childhood at times, but at the same time, that's why I'm probably the way I am is martial arts, like I'm saying. But I was getting pissed because we had to do this form over and over and over and over, and they kept fucking up. And so we get to the time where it's time for us to spar. And I just was pissed. And so I'm just lighting into these kids perfectly. I mean, just purposely trying to headshot, all this stuff. I was pissed because I wanted them to realize you guys fucked up the whole time we were doing forms. And now look, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I had to be put in my place. My instructor, loved this guy. He's like my second dad. His name's Mr. Nimmo. He's amazing. Al Nimmo, man. Alfred Eduardo Nimmo the third. He's the
awesome.
man, though. But anyways, Al goes, hey, Zach, so this is what we're going to do. It's going to be Ryan and Justin against you. So both of them against you. I'm thinking in my mind, fuck these guys up. This is going to be my JCVD, Jean-Claude Van Damme style here. Because you watch too many movies, you think like, oh, it's going to be so easy to take out two people. Was I fucking wrong? I mean, dude, I'm like having fun with it. I remember at first like fucking having fun with it, trying to kick them. But then all of a sudden I'm starting to get kicked from one angle and kicked to the other angle at the same fucking time. You can't block that shit.
Right.
I'm up in a corner and I just remember a foot just boom,
oh shit,
right in my face. I fall to the ground. I'm fucking crying, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm pissed at my instructor. And like, I'm mad. I grabbed my bag and I went up and we had this little locker room up the steps and I threw my bag down. And he comes up and he's like, I'm flunking you for today. You're not getting your you're not going to get your third degree red belt.
Oh shit.
You're done. You have to retake the test. And I'm so mad. I quit, like throwing a big fit. And I remember he sat me down like the next day and he like just started asking me questions, you know, like, why do you think I put him against you? Why do you think that, you know, I kept having you guys do forms? And basically, to make a long story short, is he just explained to me is, I saw you as the leader the whole time and you never fucking stepped up. You were the better of the entire class and all you did was throw a fit because nobody else was able to follow you. And because you're the leader, your bullshit attitude trickled down into the rest of the class and they kept screwing up because they all look up to you and you're pouring a bunch of bullshit into them. Whereas you could have picked them up and made them better. And that's why I did that. And ever since we had that conversation, man, I still remember to this day about that.
Damn.
Because I had never failed at anything when it came to Taekwondo. I mean, that was my life. Like,
right.
And never did so many push-ups in my life that day. Let's tell you that.
No, I just think like now in society you see that and that happens on a day-to-day basis.
In society now, the parents would have fucking thrown Al in jail.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, it's just they'll find every excuse in the book to, oh, he mistreated my kid. It's like, no, it's like your kid needs to go through some shit. Your kid needs to learn what it's like to
parents
lose.
Is what that is.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Your kid needs to, like me, I got my ass rocked in wrestling sometimes. And my grandpa would be like,
get up.
Yo,
let's go.
Why are you crying? That's the way it is. You lost. You didn't work hard. And at that time, I'd look at my grandpa and be like, you're so mean.
Yeah.
And now, like,
I used to get mad at my dad the same way.
So my grandpa would be like, you know why I said that? Because one, first off, you guys learned the same moves, I'm sure. 2, he worked harder than you. 3, you gave up something. That's why you lost. And I think just reiterating on martial arts, going back, every kid needs to experience on losing. They need to experience that hardship. It's that hardship of, damn, I lost. Damn, someone's better than me. Someone's ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like, you need to experience that. And you don't just get handed shit.
I got handed that a couple times when we would go to the national level and I started fighting, you know, on like the U.S. Junior Olympic team and stuff. I got that happen. And that was hard. That was a hard pill to swallow sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
There would be times where I wouldn't even want to step foot back in, you know, the class because I'm like, oh, fuck, I lost, you know.
Yeah.
And I was in all these newspaper articles for like all the state tournaments and shit like that. And then I'm like, you know, but you need that. You need that you need to be humbled. You need humility. Humility is huge.
Yeah.
We don't learn from winning.
And I think now we're just trying to just kind of make everything like fluff. We're trying to fluff everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's okay. Like, you both are winners. Like, no. That's not how fucking life works.
Yeah.
That's not how fucking life works.
I hate that, man. I really hate that.
But it's like, what example are you trying to lead with that example? Oh, everybody's a winner. What does that say for the generation coming up? What does that say for the kids?
Those rules are all the losers. Like, the people that I'm sorry, but the people
You're fucking right.
the people that never could. That's the one. I mean, it's like that helicopter parent that goes, why isn't my kid pitching today? Your kid's not pitching today because he sucks. That's what needs to be said. I'm sorry, but
it's true.
That's what needs to be said. Hey, you know what? You didn't listen when we said we need to put your kid as a catcher.
Yeah.
You're the one that insisted. And guess what? That parenting screws that kid up.
Yeah.
that screws the kid up. Now the kid thinks he's a failure.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe he didn't even want to pitch. That's another thing.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm always conflicted with that too, because there were so many times where I didn't want to go to class. I did not want to go to Taekwondo. And my dad, no, we're going. And I remember him and my mom would get in like fights over it. My mom would be like, let him be a kid. Like we had this junior Olympic tournament down in Florida. And we were going to go ahead and see my Uncle Jeff that lives down there and make a trip out of it.
Right.
Since I had to fight and stuff anyway, we're like, let's just make a trip out of it.
Right.
Well, so we went down early. And my mom's like, let's take him to Disneyland. You know? And my dad's like, no. And this is my dad. No, he's got to fucking fight this week. I don't need that fucking Mickey Mouse shit in his head. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, and you know, at the time I'm like, Dad, I want to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I want to see fucking Cleo.
You know, like, but anyways, you know, but what I'm trying to say is thank God that I did have that though, because at the times that I didn't quite understand it, now I get it, man. Like now I get it.
Yeah, you won't understand it until you're much older. Like me.
And they used to say
and
that.
You look back on, you're like, wow, I'm very glad that I went through what I went through, and your grandfather and your dad put you through that whole situation, and with my grandfather teaching me things as well, because it's hard. It's like sensitizing everything nowadays, and we're just getting soft as a generation. Is coming up
it's
above
scary.
us, you know,
it's really
and
scary.
I'm like. That kind of worries me because I'm like, wait, I used to get my ass kicked when I was younger. I used to get a spanking. Now, you can't even you can't touch your kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like.
I had my ass beat.
You know.
I mean, I remember even though, dude, there's only 2 times my pop ever yelled at me. And literally, I remember them both. One was when I spilt a kerosene heater all over the basement.
Oh,
because he kept telling me to quit jumping over it.
Right.
And I just kept jumping over it. And I remember getting my ass whooped for that. The other one is I had this toy gun that I used to play around with out at the pool. And I was also, when I was little, I loved swimming.
Right.
And like my grandparents could never get me back inside the house for dinner. Because once I was out there, it was like, I didn't want to go back in.
Right.
And he's like, come on, it's dinner time, blah, blah. And I would throw a fucking fit. And I was like, I want to play with my gun. And threw a big fit. And I just remember him going, I'm going to tell you one more time. And if you don't go in there, there's going to be consequences. And I was like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
He grabbed that fucking gun, threw it on the ground, and stomped the fuck out of it. It was literally in pieces. And I remember just going, well, you know what, dude? That's the shit I remember, dude. It's like that little bitty thing taught me so much to where you listen to your elders, you know, chill, just shit like that, to where you can't have your way all the time. Shit like that. You need that in your life. Now, do your toys have to be broke like that? No, but but it's something like that that has to penetrate, and every kid is different.
Well, and the thing is, you remember that too. So that's stuck with you. It's ingrained in your head.
Yep.
You know, you can't always have your way. You can't always talk back to your parents. Your parents are your parents for a reason. You know, and every time something doesn't go in your way, like in life, you can't just fucking flip out and throw a fit and go cry in a corner.
Right.
Going back, you need to suck it up, figure out what's wrong, and fix it. Don't throw a fucking fit. Like, there's been times where I've kind of bitched and complained, but I've gathered myself and be like, okay, all right, stop being a little bitch. We got to move forward. Let's go. Let's figure out what's wrong and move on from there. How can I fix this? What's going bad in my life? How can I fix it from this point of view? And just look at different avenues.
And when you get older, you start to realize that you're like realizing you have this personality, but then you have all these little things and attributes that you've learned, and they kind of like intertwine to make you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so at the young age, you don't really realize everything that you're getting out of it.
Right.
Like we had discussed. And then when you're older, it's like, oh, I feel that coming out now. Like
the switch turns on.
Yeah. Like, and then the stubbornness, like, that we learn and you know, I think stubbornness is a good thing. You know, it can be, can not be.
There's pros and cons.
But you know, like I had always, you got to also know when to follow your heart, when to follow your intuition. So for instance, when I moved out here, I had, I made really good money back in Illinois. I was running a gym. I had like 35, 40 trainers under me, teaching them how to build a business and all that kind of stuff. It was great. But I got bit. That bug bit me as far as to come out here, and it started off like a little whisper in my ear, like you need to go out there. You need to go out there.
Mhm.
And then I'd be going to sleep, and it'd just be going, you need to go out there. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep, dude.
Yeah.
To the point where I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, I gotta go. And I remember I told my pop, and I'm like, hey, and I quit my job. I just did it because I knew if I went to my pop without quitting my job, he would talk me out of it. So I said, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna just do it. So I quit my job, drove home, and I told him, hey, I just quit. I'm moving out to Illinois. Or I'm moving out to Illinois. Fuck that. I'll never do that. I'm moving out to LA.
Right.
And I'm gonna be an actor. And he like kind of chuckled. And he's like, you didn't quit your job. I said, yeah, I quit my job. He goes, get your phone out, call them right now, and tell them you made a mistake. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go out there. He goes, if you go out there, and this is a man that literally I would listen to every little word and hold on to every little word. I mean,
Right.
everything I did, I would call him and ask him first.
Right.
It's
Right,
weird. And, but I had to pull one of his moments and be stubborn on this,
Mhm.
and, but he said, if you go out there, because he had given me some land, and I had a little bit of money that he had set aside for me.
Mhm.
And he said, you go out there, you're not getting the land, and you're not getting any money. You're cut out of everything.
Damn.
If you do this, that's it. And I said to him, Pop, listen, man. I said, I'm sure sitting across from me right now that when you were my age, or maybe whenever, I'm sure that you can look back and see some times of your existence that maybe you didn't jump on something or do something that you wish you would have. And now at your age and health, like that window is completely closed. It's shut. It will never open again. And I just want to make sure that I'm not ever going to have to look at that. And I don't want to be that guy that sits back at 70 years old
What if?
and say to my kid, your grandfather could have been an actor, or say to
Yeah.
my grandkid or something, I want to go. And if I fail on my ass and I fall on my ass, I'll come back. But I want to go, because if I don't, it's going to haunt me for the rest of
Mhm.
my life.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't care. You're not going, blah, blah, blah. So we had bad blood there for a second.
Mhm.
I go to bed because I was staying at I always came up to stay with my grandparents when I was in town. I go to bed, I get a knock on the door. I don't know if your people get up at like 4 a.m, but mine do. And I get a knock on the door at like 4:30 a.m. Dum, 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 dum. Zachary, breakfast. I'm like, okay. So I get out, go sit down at the table. He goes, and this is where I knew like I was doing the right thing, because he's that guy, like we spoke, like the wisdom type thing. It's just like he's going to ponder on that, and I know he didn't sleep. I know it.
Yeah, they don't.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know he's thinking about it all night. And he goes, I thought about everything that you had said to me yesterday, and I want to let you know that I let it roll around in my head, and I'm going to trust you on this. And you got 2 years to go out there and get something done. And if you don't get something done and you don't see anything and there's no progress, you have to promise me that you're going to come home and you're going to go back to work, and we're going to go after it. Because I was going to open up a franchise of the gym that I was working at and stuff. He was helping me acquire the loan and get everything.
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm okay with that. He never once asked me to come back. So he got to see, he saw me doing it,
Yeah.
My grandmother would be like, can you just come home?
Right.
She still goes, Zachary, will you just come home? You and
Yeah.
Sarah can live here, she can be a lawyer here.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy. Like my grandfather does the same thing. Again, like when we have back and forth just like that, he won't sleep either.
Mhm.
And then he'll I thought about what you said.
Yep.
Like, here we go.
It's like that.
And
that
I'm like, okay.
unconditional love. Is just
Yeah,
something that it's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's
And
just so amazing.
it's cool that he gave you that chance. And I think he did that because something in the back of his mind told him maybe he is ready.
Yeah.
I've taught him all I could teach him as a child to where he is now. Let's see what he can do out in the real world by himself. Let's see how much he can accomplish. And that's all they want to do, is have you accomplish your dreams and your goals. Because you are right. we get so caught up in the fucking world, and a lot of people can't do what they've always wanted to do, what they've dreamed of being. Like some people dream of being a firefighter, and they're all the way here in right field, opposite of doing that. Some people dream of being an actor. Some people dream of being a business owner, and that door's completely shut. They can't go back to that because they're too old, or they have a family and they have to take care of 1, 2, 3, or 4 kids. Plus they have a wife or whatever the case may be. And that's one thing that I totally agree with you on. Like,
that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. If you have a chance, fucking take it. If you have the work ethic, take it. Shit's not going to get handed to you.
If you don't have the work ethic,
don't do it.
Find the work ethic.
Oh, there we go.
Find it.
Yeah.
Because people ask me all the time now. I mean, I get it. I swear to God, I get it once, if not once a week, once every couple weeks. Zach, I'm thinking about becoming an actor also, or I'm thinking about doing modeling. How do I start? Where do I go? What do I do? And my first thing is I try to talk them out of it. And the reason I try to talk them out of it is because if they don't fight me for it, then they don't want it. There's that deep sense of drive isn't there. The person that fights me is like, well, I'll do this or I'll do that or I'll fucking, dude, let me tell you what I will do. Like literally, I would live in a fucking box for the next 5 years.
Yeah. Because you love what you do.
I'm not kidding. I would.
You love what you do. And that's the thing. Like with me and my thing, it's crazy to say this. I've been coaching for 8 years.
Yeah.
I love it because of the outcome that I have on an impact of people's lives.
Coaches are a huge deal.
I see people day in and day out. I deal with different personalities, and I impact so many people that I forget. I'm like, wait a minute. These people are looking up to me in a way. I'm with you on that.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll fucking live in my car.
Yeah.
I'll wear a shirt and pants and shower on fucking Huntington Beach and come back to train my clients if I have to.
Yep.
Like I will, because I love my job. I love what I do, and I will keep doing this as long as I can.
Yep.
A lot of people don't do it. Like a lot of people don't have that willpower. A lot of people
sell out on their dreams.
Yep, exactly.
Because
or quit
of
too
money.
early.
Because they pretty much, instead of trying to design a life that they want, they pretty much just make the money for the things that they have to replace the life that they really want.
Yeah, it's those external values that they're
Right.
chasing after. And what I've seen, because I've met people like that, and I mean, me and those people really don't get along. You buy a Ferrari, right? Cool, you got a Ferrari. Well, I want more. I want more. I want more.
Yeah.
I want a Rolex. I want a better Rolex. A $20,000 Rolex. Oh, I can afford $100. You're always gonna keep chasing the next big thing because you think that thing is gonna make you happier when in reality it's not.
Right.
You're gonna get that one
I'd
thing.
rather just go to the gym. Dude.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather fucking go to jujitsu or wrestling practice
Exactly.
and fucking roll. That's what makes me happy. What makes me happy is waking up at 2:30, 3 a.m. and seeing a client like, all right, you ready? You ready to slam this workout?
Yeah,
you ready to get going? Let's get it, because it's the hardest fucking workout of your day. It's fucking cake from here.
Yeah.
Well, you got meetings. This is easy compared to that.
Right.
So those.
Well, I think the gym translates a lot into life, man.
Yeah,
I
it does.
truly can tell most of the time when I work with somebody. If it's so weird because it's like people that are like killing it at their jobs and stuff, they also kill it in the gym. It's because it's like a mentality thing. And, I understand there's genetics and there's things that go into it. And, we could get on all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's what you put in. And, sometimes I always say this, sometimes I wish I was stupid when it came to the gym sometimes because I miss the times of just going in and just getting a workout and breathing and I'll go through phases where I do that. But the majority of the time, man, my brain won't let me do that because I'm going, well, why would I do that? I'm wasting my time. So, I get that I'm
too.
always like, I don't know, I tell my buddy Mel, I always tell him, man, I wish we were fucking dumb so we could just bro it out sometimes. You know what I mean? Like
back in the day when you had no fucking idea
you had no
what
clue.
to do.
You just run in and get a pump and leave. But now it's like, dude, I have so much going on. I need the best bang for my buck. You know what I mean? I in knowing all the anatomy and physiology and everything that comes along with it, it's like, it's so hard for me to turn off the science and just go, because then I don't feel like I accomplished anything.
Right.
However, I do believe there's another facet to the gym, to whereas when going back to like clients like that, is sometimes the gym can literally transform somebody's life outside the gym, and maybe not even their body, but more the mentality of what they learn from attaining the certain micro pivots inside the gym, if that makes any sense. So it's like when you, maybe you could only bench press 135 pounds, and then all of a sudden 2 months later you bench press 175. That's like such an awesome feat in your mind at that time, to where you're like, dude, if I can do that based upon all the little consistent strategies that I stayed on, maybe I can develop a strategy to do the same thing in this area of my life. Because I honestly didn't develop the confidence to do a lot of certain things until I started literally utilizing the gym like the way I do now.
Right.
That didn't come till I was like 18 or 19.
Right.
But like clients, man, that's one of the best things to see, is their mentality change. Like, that's the fucking amazing thing.
From day one to, and I usually count it from day 1 to month 6, I usually see like a switch just turn on, and they come in with their chest up and they feel good. And, you know, they walk around like they're the shit. And I'm like, okay, little swagger.
Let me ask you this. If you ever had a client that has lost a shit ton of weight, and then the significant other starts to give them backlash about going to the gym because they've lost all the weight?
Yes.
We used to see that all the time back in Illinois.
Yes.
Like literally sometimes the gym can cause divorces.
Yeah.
Because that other person didn't quite, they never got up out of that negativity and got in there, and then they can't quite understand it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the saddest things though about it, because I've seen that so many times. And that's why I always say, when somebody, you know, is a sales tactic in a way too, where you say, oh, you know, well, when's the last time that you actually did something for yourself? Or, hey, why don't you bring your husband in and let's sit down with them and let's figure out what the strategies and goals are for both of you guys. And we can create a habitual experience for you both. And it's going to grow your relationship as well. Right. You know, because there's so many facets to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we did, man. We used to see it all the time where, you know, a guy would lose 100 pounds and then the wife doesn't want anything to do with him. Or even worse, guy loses 100 pounds, gets so much confidence and says, fuck it, runs off because he can now, you know, like, or
it goes two ways.
It goes both ways. And it's sad to see. But basically what I'm trying to say is what it can do to the psyche, because that's what my master's degree is in, is exercise psychology, sport and exercise psychology. What it does to the brain is far surpasses what it does to the body. Yeah,
I think of even the gym as a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone, and it creates, like you said, little micro pivots into who you want to transform yourself into. And then that translates into life, into work, how you are as a husband or a wife, as a father, uncle. Absolutely. And it just goes down from there. You know, like I've seen that happen. I've seen a divorce happen. Like, guy comes in, loses 60 pounds.
It's all shredded and shit.
Yeah, he literally like shredded. 6-pack, everything, super happy, super confident. Business is booming for this guy, on top of the world. Wife files for divorce for him. And he's like, I'm actually glad that happened because it showed who that person really was. And they were married for 20 years.
Yeah.
He just didn't know it. It took that little stepping stone into walking into the gym and telling a trainer, okay, I'm going to commit to you for a year. Show me what you got. And then he kept coming in, seeing results, kept seeing results. And then that just led to that. You know, I mean, it's like you said, it could be a good or a bad thing as far as the way you look at it.
But at the end of the day, man, I mean, you look at it, everything is it's all on perspective. Anything can be construed as bad or construed as good. I mean, it's just who's looking at it. You know what I mean? So from her perspective, it's probably bad. From his perspective, maybe it's good, or vice versa or whatever.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's all a learning experience. And when people are sad or have depression or, don't know what to do with their life, don't, have no idea what direction they want, I always say to go to the gym. I had a cousin that was kind of going through that and didn't know what he wanted to do. It's getting to the point where he's like, a certain age and still living with his parents and like, not sure, should I move away? And, I'm yeah, you should, like go to Texas if that's what you're thinking of. Go.
Yeah.
Go. Well, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to. So what?
Yeah.
Go, man. Because I'll tell you right now, you put yourself in the shit, you'll find yourself. You'll find yourself real fast. You put yourself in the gym for a couple weeks, beat yourself to an absolute pulp and still keep going, you'll find yourself pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then when those endorphins kick in from that gym, when that norepinephrine and epinephrine hit the body and you feel that drug for the first time and that high, dude, you want it so much. You don't have to go snort it. You don't have to shoot it at vein. You just go to the gym. Yeah. And guess what? That thing lasts. That's why I like to go a lot of the times at the beginning of the day, because that shit lasts all day. When I would have a shoot, like we'd be on set. I remember when we were in Alabama, we were shooting a movie in Alabama and I had to be on set every day at 5 a.m. And the producer's like, you already went to the gym? I was at the gym 3:30 because, dude, I knew. They're like, dude, aren't you gonna be fucking tired? No, dude. Now that I got my gym in, that's my energy capacity just tripled.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shut down.
Right.
And everybody else, when they're like, it takes them forever to wake up, and then they need a nap later
I need
and
coffee.
shit.
I need something to wake me up. Yeah.
And like all I did was just sweat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's also, and I kind of took it from The Rock. There's also a mentality that like you're up before everybody else. Like everybody else is just getting to work. You've already been going.
Yeah.
You already had an hour and a half, 2 hours on them, dude. Mm-hmm. Like add those little micro pivots up, dude. And they add up.
Yeah.
They add up. And it's this game within yourself you're always playing, man.
Yeah. Like my grandpa always told me too, and that's where I get that mentality from. So I usually, depending on the day, wake up at 2:30 or 3 a.m. Depending on the day.
Damn, that's early, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, that's
boss.
My grandpa always told me, and he ingrained this in my head, because he would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock, depending on where his job site was.
It's like Eric Thomas style, bro.
So, bro, guys, grandpa, love you. You're a hard ass worker. But he would wake up around 2 or 3. The reason why, because he would wake up. This was his daily routine. He'd wake up, have old school Folgers coffee out of the red tub.
The can, man.
He would drink like the Rocky movie. He would drink his egg whites.
Dude, have you ever done that?
Yeah, it's fucking
gross.
It's
fucking disgusting.
Yo, dude. He would do that. He would drink. He would do that. Drink his egg whites, have oatmeal, pack his lunch in his little cooler, and just head out because he always.
Did he lift?
My grandpa?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was going to say, dude, that sounds like a fucking straight up bodybuilding.
So my grandpa, he got big. He was big. He would work out with full kegs. He would, in our backyard, he would work out with my grandfather. Yep. He would get kegs and do keg throws over his shoulder. He would bench press 300 pounds. And then we had this pizza cardboard box, and it was probably about as big as this table. And he would mark it. He would tally up. And what he would do is tally up all of his sets. And he would do, I think, 20 sets of like 10 reps, flat barbell bench press, just 300 pounds. He's like, that's it for the day. He's like, see all these tally marks? Dude, it was fucking from one end to the other end of the pizza box. He's like, I'm gonna need a bigger pizza box.
That's legit.
That's what he would do. But he would always tell me, wake up 2 hours before you're supposed to leave your house. Reason why. One, you wake up, right? You're not rushing to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You're starting your morning off slow. So you're not in a rush. Oh, I got to do this. You're starting off with a slow morning with a clear head.
Yep.
You go downstairs, get some food in your body to fuel it for what you're going to do that day. Okay? Get some coffee because you need to wake up a little bit. Plan out your day. My grandpa would always tell me, plan out your day of what you're going to do and write it down if you want to. Take a shower, get ready.
I'm big into organization.
Yeah,
like
so he instilled that into my head. And that was a little after I started working at Vaughn's that he told me, he's like, trust me, do it. I did it once. I was like, oh.
You feel good.
I was like, oh, I feel actually pretty good. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. And then one thing led to another. A domino effect came to be. And then now I do the same thing. Like sometimes, so I have to be at the facility at 4:45. So I'll wake up at 3. And just roll out of bed, make my bed,
Time you go to sleep.
8 or 9. Yeah.
It's like Mark Wahlberg does that shit.
Yeah, dude, like I go to sleep early. I go to sleep at 8 or 9 o'clock. Sometimes later if I have to, but I still have to wake up 2 hours before I'm supposed to leave my house in the morning. And that taught me a lot. You know.
Sleep is overrated.
Yeah. No,
sleep,
well,
I always have this thing I say to Sarah, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, I say that too. It's kind of like a give and take relationship. You sleep, I sleep when I can. If I have the opportunity to,
I can take cat naps. Are you a cat napper?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
I can do
That's it.
Yeah.
20 minutes is all I need, and I feel great.
I'm good with that. Sarah hates it because, dude, if she can't do it.
Really?
If she falls asleep, dude.
She like a log just knocks out.
Like when she's studying or something, she'll set an alarm, and then she's like, will you set an alarm too? And I'm like, you know you're going to make me hit the snooze button for like 20 times. So what's the point?
Yeah.
So like with me, I could just set an alarm. Boom, I'm up.
Yeah.
Like
that's how I am too.
But there are times I hit a wall.
Yeah.
You ever hit the walls?
Yeah. And they hit hard, dude. Like you're just, like you're here and the world is going 100 miles an hour around you and you have no idea where the fuck you're at.
Yep.
Like I've fucking been there.
That was you like, what was it, 4 weeks ago when you slept for like 13 hours or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Well, because dude, like,
yeah,
you know, with our mentalities, I mean, at least I am. I'm sure you're like this too. When I wake up in the morning, I have anxiety. Like it's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta conquer. I gotta get done. And if I don't, I just feel like shit, dude.
Yeah.
I just, maybe I'm the one that screwed up. I don't know. But that's just, but it works for me.
Yeah.
But there are times I can do that for a good 2 or 3 weeks and then.
Yeah, you hit a wall.
Yeah, I'll hit a wall and I'll do the same thing. I'll sleep for like 12, 13 hours. But then I'm good. And then I'm like, okay, we're good. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's keep going.
You need that little short break too. I was reading this book too, and it talked about in order to not burn out and for every 3 months, take a break out of your realm for a good 48 hours.
Yeah.
Get out of your realm just so that you don't have that anxiety because you're like,
well, that's stressful, man.
Yeah.
Your cortisone levels go crazy.
Yeah.
It'll age you. You know, I mean, there are some hormonal issues that will start if you don't.
Right.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was going back though, too. Like you just said, taking the break and knowing that's knowing yourself. That's understanding yourself, you know? And that's where I was saying earlier in the podcast when I said, you have to know how to switch it up when your mindset just isn't there, whether it's a song you listen to, a podcast or, you know, a video you watch, anything it is. And you have to be very, very aware of the nutrition that you feed yourself, you're visually, mentally, audibly. Like you have to be aware of that.
Right.
Because all that goes in there and energy is never lost. It's transferred. So whatever, if you're putting bullshit in, bullshit will come out. Like, you know what I mean? It's
you're exactly right.
It's like I've gotten to the point to where I can realize, like you said earlier, being a little bitch. If I realize I'm being a little bitch, I have videos saved for being a little bitch. And I go right to it. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because I'll watch it. And at first there's resistance.
Right.
Of course. I think Joe Rogan said something along those lines where the elite, the professional, knows how to fight the resistance.
Right.
So there's resistance at first. I'm like, fuck. And then you fucking start watching it, and all of a sudden, you just fucking turn on, dude. And then all of a sudden, I'm having the best fucking workout of my life, or whatever, you know. And I've realized that too. Like, if you know how to jog your emotion, this is good for acting too. If you know how to jog your emotions, you know how to get into the deep root of certain emotions. You get the most impact. I don't, and I know everybody's different. I don't have my best workouts for listening to like heavy. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't listen to that. Yeah. But if I put on like this, like, I'll tell you, like if I put on something like that really jars my heart, like, you know, something that might remind me of my pop, dude, that fucking workout's getting destroyed.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and
the fucking Rocky soundtrack me and my pop used to watch.
Yep.
Bro.
Yep.
That shit sticks my hairs up. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, all right.
But it's just knowing that button to press
for
yourself.
Yeah.
And most people are not aware of that.
Yeah. If for me, sometimes I'll do that. Or back in high school, we used to listen to a lot of the Linkin Park and like POD.
Oh yeah, dude.
So that shit would bring back.
Youth of a Nation.
Yeah, that was my number one jam. So
Fuck yeah, dude.
I go back to those songs and it triggers that memory. Dude, you fucking work your ass off still in high school.
I mean, there's a lot of like nostalgia in that, and nostalgia it pushes too. Being able to look back on certain things, like you literally, the brain turns on as if you were there again.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, and that's done by senses, and it's done by audibly and visually and eating and smelling and stuff like that. Like I'm a weird guy as far as with food. Like certain foods bring me back to certain shit.
What?
Like it's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Like Sarah's just gonna make fun of me for this, but because I'm a food guy, bro. Like everything has to do with food. Like I'll be like, I'll say something to her like, "Oh, we should go here. They have the best." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh God." In your other life, you were definitely a Pillsbury Doughboy, like 100%. But like certain foods will take me somewhere mentally, just because probably all my senses were heightened at that particular moment, and I've placed that food or that song or that movie or whatever it is, I've placed that into a nugget, an area to where I can call upon it whenever I want. And that takes me back to that nostalgic place, which is energy. Because again, that also kicks in that norepinephrine and epinephrine.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, I completely agree. It's funny that you say that. Like, or I'll go to, last time I went to Disneyland was 5-6 years ago. And that still kind of brings me back to that deja vu moment when I was like a kid. And I'm like, damn, like I get happy all of a sudden and memories come back and then I start getting happy. And
it's being able to access that.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to access that, but you can't get stuck in that.
Right.
Because that's when people get stuck in the past.
Right.
And they think that only the past is the best. Because and if you place too much emphasis on that, then that's what can happen.
Yeah.
So it's finding that, of course, like we said earlier, that gray, finding that happy medium, that gray area, being able to know how to.
Well, there's a time and a place to go back.
Exactly.
Well, like with you eating, or that's a good time to do it. That's the good gray area. If you're stuck in a life to where you fucking hate it, I wish I was back then.
Right.
Then that's the negative aspect 100%. Of that.
100%.
So there's that gray area of where you need to find that and how can you fine tune it and make it work for your advantage.
How can you beat the resistance?
Right.
That's how I always think. How can you beat the resistance? Because we all get stuck in that.
Oh, dude, definitely. There's been plenty of times where I'm like, fuck, I wish I was back there. Or I wish I was back there. But it's just like you said, all of like a mental thing.
Yeah, it's all a mental game. It's not a perfect Instagram post. You know what I mean? It's not
with like 20 filters,
50 pics, and then choose the best.
What is that thing? Facetune? There's that fucking face. Yeah. There's a face. Yeah. Have you heard of it? So I found
the one
this
where
out.
Like swaps your face.
Yeah. No. So there's this thing, right? So there's this shit called Facetune. I barely found this out. Don't ask me why. I barely found this out because there's this girl that I know, and she does it, and her friends do it. So Facetune, you post a picture,
puts like makeup on your face and changes it. Or whatever. So I've seen that on Instagram.
So, dude, you could change your hips.
Dude, you look at their faces, and it's like you don't have dude. Nobody has a porcelain fucking face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, you could change your eye color. You can change your arm, like your arm size. You can change your hips. You can change you to have a skinny waist and big hips.
You know what, man? That right there.
It's fucking nuts.
You just gave so much fucking power to your fucking social media.
Yeah.
Like, you just gave so much of your power away. Yeah. Because by you thinking that you need to do that, you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And regardless if you want to admit that that's what's going on, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
When you go home and you look in the mirror, you know what's going on. But here's my thing with that. We're the same with Photoshop. It's kind of like Photoshop, right?
Dude, it's on another. It's way better than Photoshop.
If I'm gonna if I'm gonna post a picture of me and my grandfather, I'm gonna use this for an example because I've thought about this and exactly what you're bringing up. If I'm gonna post a picture of me and my grandfather, and I go in and change and fucking make myself have Superman arms and fucking, get rid of my complexion or whatever, I got a zit or whatever. Guess what I'm gonna think 20 years from now when I look at that picture?
Yeah.
The only thing I'm gonna think of is I made my arms bigger. I made my waist smaller, and I fixed my zits. I'm not going to be looking back going, fuck, that was an amazing time with my pop. And that's what you give away.
Well, that's the thing that you're
That's
taking
what we-
away too, especially nowadays. And it's, I don't know. It's just, it's funny that that's even a thing because I barely found this out like a month ago.
I've seen it.
And I'm like, wait, what? You can do that? Like, I think mostly girls, some guys do that too.
Oh, dude, guys do it all the
And
time.
I was like, wait, guys do that? There's a thing now on Photoshop. It says like, I don't know what it's
Well,
called.
I saw one where they can literally paste abs. Like they showed a fat guy and pardon me, they showed a large man. All right. And, and then you hit this like app thing and like it shows in the little marketing video, them sliding a pair of abs over. It's like,
What?
Really? Why would anybody post that?
Dude,
you don't think people are going to look at that and go,
there's a thing.
I just saw that dude yesterday at Walmart and he has a fucking 24 pack, not a 6 pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a button on what is that thing you just said? Not Facetune, Photoshop.
Photoshop.
There's a thing that says muscle builder, and you click it, and whatever, like some guy did his delts, made his delts twice as big as what they were.
That's why I always would tell people. People are like, "Oh, dude, you look so shredded in that picture on Muscle and Fitness." Dude, yes, I'm in great shape, but they do fucking Photoshop a lot, and they fucking hate when you say this. The editors hate when you say this shit, but they do it.
Yep.
To everybody.
Yeah.
And they do it on the Victoria's Secret models and shit like that. But guess what? Nobody says shit about that.
Yeah.
Nobody says shit about that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But they'll say shit about the dude that has his pecs out and all this kind of stuff. But you already have to be in fucking shape on that sense
Right.
to have a muscle builder app or muscle builder button or whatever, right?
Right.
But you just can't believe that shit anymore, dude. Like, I don't know, man. You got to have it. I get, again, going back to where there's a business and it's a business. But at the same time, man, I want to be able to look at that and be fucking proud of it and not look at it and go, dude, they fucking airbrushed the shit out of me there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and I've seen it, dude, like a couple romance novel covers I've seen, which it's
But that's-
understandable with the
that's-
romance novel
yeah.
cover, but and in Muscle and Fitness and Men's Fitness and
See,
shit, I'm sure they do shit. but-
That's different though, because that's more of like a business perspective.
right. And they're definitely not changing like
You
making
have-
muscles bigger. They're
Yeah.
just like airbrushing to like make it look darker
Yeah,
and like
defined.
yeah, and like, and let's be honest, man. I could go stand under that light, you take a picture, and I'm gonna be shredded as fuck. I walk in front of the light, you take a picture, I'm gonna look like a fat ass.
Yeah.
You can
It's
do that.
lighting.
And again, sorry, a large man. But honestly, it's literally it's all lighting, dude. Like I just, dude. And,
Well,
and it's so sad because with our clients, it paints a picture that it's an impossible picture.
You're chasing something that's not real. That's the thing about social media. When
Right.
girls and guys post this shit, like fitness models, that's the number one. There's some that I know that are great in shape and that I've met and they're cool people, but then there's others that just Photoshop the shit out of themselves and people look up to them and they're sending the wrong message because kids are saying, wow, I can reach this. In my mind, I'm thinking, no one could ever reach that. That dude in that picture can't even reach that.
Yeah.
His fucking editor did that for him.
Yep.
You know, and you have fucking Facetune. You got Stephanie with her girlfriend Jill, fucking Orange County Housewives, who are face tuning themselves at a pumpkin patch.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
what the fuck is going on? You know,
A pumpkin patch.
I'm dead serious. This
Yeah.
shit's getting out of hand. I'm like,
It
what are
is,
we
man.
doing? Like, what
It
message
is.
are you trying to send?
It is.
It kind of sucks and it blows my mind. I feel like I'm the old soul because how I was raised by my grandfather and seeing this shit now, I'm like, wait, that's not right.
No.
You know, like what you're doing and what
And if
message
it
you're portraying
feels
is it right?
wrong, it's wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's a bad spot. And that's the majority of the business I'm in, which is, you know.
But that's the thing. That's the business.
Yeah.
Instead of Jill and fucking Stephanie, like
yeah.
they're not doing shit but picking pumpkins,
Right.
and they want to face to, you know. Or like I had a
Well,
buddy.
there's a building of the ego that's good and positive, and there's a building of the ego that's
Right.
bad, you know,
Right.
and that's a bad build.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a buddy who was on Tinder and he met this girl. He showed me her. Beautiful. Looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, dude, go out with her.
He met her and she looked like Sasquatch.
Yeah. She looked completely different. And he's like, wait, you're this person. She's like, yeah. You don't look like your profile picture.
Oh, I face-tuned it.
Yeah. She's like, you know what she said? He's like, what she told me? I added a little touch on it. That's what she told him. I just added a little touches. He's like, that wasn't fucking little.
That reminds me in the movie, oh my God. It's a movie with Jamie Foxx. And I'm trying to think what it's called. But he's like, basically, he's like, you know, how many times you go into the club and you see this woman in the disco light, she look fine as fuck. You take her back home, take her in your room, turn on the light, and a fucking sea donkey jumps into your bed. You know what I'm talking about? You ever seen it? I can't remember the movie, but I can't remember the movie, but
hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
so true,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, dude.
Nightclubs, why do you think fucking nightclubs have the lights shut off,
Yeah.
motherfuckers? And you're drunk as fuck. You can't tell shit.
God, what movie is
You
that?
think you're going home with a 10 and you wake up with a 2, bitch?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
I think it was. Was he in Booty Call? Is that the movie? Maybe it's called Booty Call. I think. I don't know. I have to Google that.
That is fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? They're fucking smart. Clubs are smart. Whoever decided to have very low lighting in clubs.
Everything in this world is marketing.
Yeah.
It's
insane.
Now, and another thing is like, even for there's such a cool thing because it makes the playing field so level.
Right.
Like you couldn't do this 15 years ago, this podcast,
Right.
You know, only somebody that had this massive name and could reach the type of people that you guys reach, you know, it makes the playing field level with all the marketing. But at the same time, it's like also like now you have people that are doing shit like that, you know,
Right.
Let's change it up so I can try to dupe somebody and we can go back. That's like fucking what they did at LA Fitness.
Yeah.
Duping people into shit that they didn't buy.
Fuck that company. Dude, honestly, fuck corporate gyms.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck LA Fitness. I'm just saying this right now.
LA Fitness is I don't necessarily, I mean, the company that I worked for corporate wise, Club Fitness back in Illinois, they were amazing. Well, let me back that up. Club Fitness themselves weren't the greatest. Dynamic Fitness Management, which was subcontracted within all the Club Fitnesses, they were amazing.
Right.
They cared about the client and the client's results, and that is it. They were not dollar signs. They were not numbers. They were results, and that is it.
Yeah.
And when I walked into LA Fitness and it was all about the numbers and all about trying to high sale and blah, 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 I fought tooth and nail with these people. I even tried to go higher up to some of the higher up people and show them the business strategy that I used to do, showing them that, hey, results are what keep people. That's retention. Results give you retention. You guys are being one pump chumps. That's why people are always canceling. That's why none of the sessions actually get completely done. Everybody cancels half or stops coming in or cancels their credit card.
It's a fucking revolving door around there.
And when you have somebody that thinks a fucking calf muscle is a tricep selling, which is a true story, selling a training package to somebody, I don't want to be part of that.
Dude,
I
can't
don't
believe
want to be part
I
of that.
can't believe that was my boss at one point.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God, that is funny.
And you know, there's not enough worse things I could say about that. Like I got let go specifically because I didn't even really get let go. I ended actually just walking out. But the guy sat me down and basically said, hey man, you can't be giving them all these extra sessions. You're kind of stealing from us. I said, how am I stealing from you? I'm not cashing in their sessions. Well, that's exactly what it is. If they want to see you more and you give them more, they need to be buying more. I said, look, dude, you guys have 25-minute sessions. I know you sell them for 30 minutes, but they're actually 25 fucking minute sessions. You can't even take a proper dump in 25 minutes, let alone train somebody. Okay. So I'm going to give them things to do beforehand, and I'm going to give them things to do after. And I'm going to focus on the main core of their workout with them, which is probably going to be the top 3, deadlift, bench, or squat.
Right.
And then they can do the auxiliary lifts on their own. And I'm going to give them programs written up that they can follow as well for their days off. No, you can't be doing that. If they're going to do that, you need to be charging them. And I said, I am not going to charge them. You guys already are raping them out the rear with 25-minute sessions.
And the amount they charged for those?
It was insane.
Half an hour and you're getting fucking raped up the ass?
And that
Like,
was my
what?
pet peeve, because when I worked as a training director back in Illinois, well, it was in Illinois and Missouri. When I worked as a training director back then and I had 35 trainers under me, I was protective of my clients because I saw all of them as my clients. Yes, they were also the trainers' clients. I understand that, but I saw them as DFM's clients. And it was my job as a director to make sure that they were taken care of. And if I saw a trainer training somebody for 30 minutes, unless they bought 30-minute sessions, which is we allowed them to also, you had to be a certain caliber of trainer, you had to be a certain level, you had to have a certain amount of education to be able to sell half hours, and you had to prove that you were giving them things to do on their own before and after the workouts and on their days off.
Right.
I would allow that. But if I saw you fucking somebody over out of an hour, dude, I don't play. I literally fired 5, 6, 7 people because of that specifically.
Yeah, there's no way. Even if I had even if somebody had, I'd rather do an hour.
Well, because it's an industry that is, the people that come in, this is what scares me about that industry, is you can, if you get a shark in that industry, it's so easy, so easy to screw somebody over, because it's mostly an industry of opinions and bullshit. Because one trainer that you have is going to tell you that it's this way. The other trainer that you have is going to tell you it's this way. And then you have another guy who's going to tell you it completely different. Now, not saying all of them are right or wrong. However, if you get a shark in there that feeds a bunch of bullshit to their client's going to think they're invincible, whether or not they're losing weight, gaining weight, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could come in and say from a business strategy, well, it doesn't matter if the client's happy, but it does. Because if you're duping a client, how the fuck are you going home and seeing yourself in the mirror? And I used to have that issue.
Right.
And so I was very protective of that. And when I saw that the director back then just didn't give a fuck, and all it was making the money in their pocket.
Dollar signs, yep.
I hated that. And it gave me a bad taste in my mouth about California at first. It really did. When I came out here, I'm like, I don't like this state. Like, it really made me upset about it. I'm not going to lie. But then, after being out here for time and seeing things and realizing that, that industry just sucks.
There's good and bad.
Well, I mean, LA Fitness and why.
Yeah, it's mostly from the big corporate gyms.
And I'm sure that there's good trainers in there. I'm not saying everybody is probably shit. I mean, I know all of us were trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, it is what it is. It sucks. But at this, the way I look at it is, I learned a lesson, right?
It's a stepping stone.
When I worked there, I knew what was right and I knew what was wrong. I knew once I veered off into my own direction what I wanted to do for my clients and what was the right way to do things and what was the wrong way to do things.
Right.
And I took that from there. So it was actually, for me, it was good to work there because I saw a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Especially on the back end of what went on and, slimy shit like that. So I'm glad I worked there because where I'm at now as a trainer, I couldn't have gotten here without seeing all that nitty gritty bad shit at the end of the day. So
it's kind of that roller coaster philosophy. You can't hit the highest of highs without hitting the lowest of lows. So you saw it.
Yeah, exactly. And you learned from it.
I mean, the best thing I got out of it was my future wife, but
Sarah, shout out to Sarah, by the way.
That's pretty much it. Other than that, I met some people. Obviously, I met you, Brandon. I mean, you still work with Brandon?
Dude, I see Brandon at jiu-jitsu 2 times a week. Yeah.
I gotta get
dude, he has a girlfriend now. He's doing good.
Every once in a while, I'll hit him with a text.
Yeah,
I got him in when I first started in the industry, I got hired for this little gig. It was like one of the first things I ever did. And
is that shoot, right? You guys did a video shoot?
And I pulled him up. I pulled him into it.
Told me
I was like,
it.
hey, dude, this movie's gonna be a 30-minute short on Cinemax. You wanna be in it? And he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So, and he's like spotting me. Neither one of us had any lines. We're both fucking we were working out for like 3 hours beforehand, trying to get a pump. By the time we were ready to shoot, we were all fucking emaciated and shit from working out for 3 straight hours. And, But it was a blast. Dude.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. I love Brandon.
Yeah, dude. He was like a brother. I've known him actually for 9 years. I've seen him grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a big boy now.
I remember
He's
just
thick.
I remember just seeing so much potential in that dude. Like, okay.
He's smart. He's going into the Air Force.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's going into the Air Force. He's shipping out March.
Yeah, I think that's what you
Yeah, February, March. Yeah, shipping out to the Air Force.
I'm gonna have to
Past his ASVAB and everything else like
Good
that.
for him, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just wanting to pour so much energy in that dude because I'm like, this guy's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
I started like perfecting his back squat, and his fucking deadlifts, and like, you know, because it's just a lot of times we learn stupid stuff from like our old football coaches and stuff. And I remember back in the day when even I was thinking I was doing it right. And I'm like, and then when I got really taught, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It was really
yeah, how
you know
I'm
what I mean?
squatting is bullshit.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
actually
yeah.
not the right way to do it.
And so I remember just pouring everything. Him and Mel, man. Mel was kind of like that too. I don't know if you knew this, but Mel hounded me for a training position in Missouri.
Really?
He came to me when he was 17 and he said, I want to be a trainer. And I said, okay, do you have a cert? And he's like, well, no, but I can get one. And I was like, all right, we'll get one. And then I saw him, he would come into the gym all the time. And he was a little skinny guy then.
Right.
And he drove this like little rice burner car. And every time he'd drive off, he'd be like, like, and, you know, and like, and I'd be like, there goes that dude. There goes the Bosnian dude. But anyways, one day he's in there training his sorry, I go off on tangents.
No, you're
like
good.
my
Keep
grandpa.
going. Keep going.
One day he's in there training his girlfriend at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he's like showing her how to do a bent over row. But he's got like her back like arched like the St. Louis Arch. and he's like having her pull. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't not say anything. And at first I'm like, you're gonna embarrass this fucking dude. And he's with his girl, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And then I'm like, oh, I fucking got to. So I went over and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. I started, you know, trying to be nice and everything. And at first I thought he was gonna be pissed. But then like the next, I'm sure he was. I think him and I have actually talked about it where he's like, this motherfucker.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
But like the next couple of days he comes up to me, he's like, hey man, I really want to get that job, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, in my mind then thinking, dude, I just saw you fucking breaking your girlfriend's back. I'm not gonna, you know.
Yeah.
But over and over he kept, then because he wouldn't get it to me, he went to my assistant. And I remember I'm taking a piss one day and my assistant Joel comes in and goes, hey, that dude's back here and he really wants to talk to you again. I'm like, dude, will you just tell him, go out, tell him, hey, get his certification. And when he has a certification, I'll hire him.
Right.
Just tell him that.
Right.
Because I had a fight coming up. So I was like, not in the mode to, when you have a fight, like you're like, just tell
your mind changes. Yeah.
And like, so I was like, didn't want to be bothered. Yeah. I literally had a fight like 3 days later. Okay. And literally he comes up to me like 2 or 3 days later and hands me his NASM cert. This fucking dude got certified in 3 fucking days.
What?
And I'm like, holy I'm like, okay, your interview's on Monday. So come on in on Monday. And then I just poured everything to him. I gave him super big list of calls to make and try to get first workouts and bring him in. And the kid did it. He like booked like fucking 8 appointments out of like making 100 calls, which is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Booked like 8 appointments. So then I started feeding him these jump starts, which jump starts were like people that had already purchased training for 3 sessions. It's kind of like a trial where you can flip them into actual training.
Right.
I started feeding him these, man, because he was hungry and he was like going and everybody's like, why the fuck is Zach giving this guy all these, you know, because he's fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Dude's fucking battling.
Yeah.
You know, for his place, 18 with like people that were like in their 30s and 40s and shit, making great money training. This kid just wants to fucking go.
Yeah.
Fast forward, the kid's now a realtor out here. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I had no idea.
He's a realtor out here and he's fucking banking. And he's
way.
Doing amazing. He transferred all that plus times 100. I mean, I gave him a very minimal, you know, foundation to work with.
Right.
But now he's just killing it, man. He's got an influence YouTube channel. It's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Oh, shit.
He's talking about building his own business, teaching people how to be a realtor, teaching people how to make it big, doing side hustles, shit like that. Like the kid's killing it. On TikTok, he's got like 300,000 followers and shit. Like he's just going for
Dude,
it.
I'm not even on
You know?
TikTok.
And
Fuck.
like,
That's crazy.
And I've watched him, and I remember about 2 months ago is when I really started noticing he's blowing up. And I just kind of sat back and like crossed my arms. I'm like, I knew there was something about that fucking kid,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know,
That's
and
insane.
it's just so crazy because.
Does that make you feel good though? Because you've watched him grow since he
dude,
was 17, 18,
yeah,
and
man,
now
it's
he's
like-
blossomed
it's
into
like
this guy.
It's like watching like a brother, like a son. It's like, I mean, the kid, well, dude, me and him, I got a history. I mean, I brought him in as a trainer. First year or so, you know, I taught him the business. He made some really good money as a trainer. I loved his work ethic. So I started working out with him, and I'm like 8 years older than he is, you know what I mean? I started working out with him. I saw his work ethic then, and we'd push each other like crazy. And when I told him that I had the crazy idea coming out to California and being an actor, this motherfucker goes, "Can I come?"
So that's why he was with you?
So he came with me.
That is so funny.
And you know, we started a supplement company, which it gained some traction for about a year. And then I think it was more me and him realized like we had other areas we wanted to stick our energy. So we just stopped.
Right.
But it was great. It was a great pre-workout. I still have one bottle of it.
No,
I take it every once in a while,
That's
but
funny.
it's probably going to kill me because it's been so old. But
It's memories, dude. You can't throw that thing away.
dude, that thing's nostalgic. Like it was called IG Fit Life.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. A blast from the past, dude.
Yeah.
I fucking remember that.
And it was good, It was good
That is
pre-workout, dude. I mean, it was
funny.
clean.
Yeah.
It had
fucking remember
150
that.
milligrams of caffeine, 5 grams of BCAAs.
Yeah.
It had 5 grams of creatine. It had 3.5 grams of beta-alanine, and that's it. It was the cleanest fucking pre-workout on the market, and it was so solid. But it cost us so much to make because we weren't a big company. And so our profit margin was so tiny.
Right.
And our plan originally was, okay, we're the real deal, so we'll be able to gain traction. But the problem is you just can't compete with, even though C4 sucks and there's literally nothing in it but caffeine, you can't compete with it when they're selling it for $30 a bottle and they're making it for $1.99.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compete with that.
Yeah.
You know, and people are, again, you have this area of this business that it's shark, and they feed off of the uneducated people that come in and they think, well, Jay Cutler's taking this, so I'm going to take it. Oh, well, you know, Sadiq Kadzovic's taking this, so I'm going to take it. You know, they feed off that. And I'm not saying that those guys don't have work ethic, because, dude, those guys are fucking amazing. The 2 guys I just dropped. But at the same time, they think because they're associated with a certain product that if they take it, they can
be
get
like
there.
that person. It's kind of like, what is it? The people who make Red Bull don't actually drink Red Bull.
Drink it, yeah.
The people who make Monster don't actually drink it.
Yeah.
Like all that shit. Like they just make it because they know other people will take it. Do they drink it? Fuck no.
Yeah.
The sponsored athletes that you see, the NBA, LeBron James, Ryan Sheckler's sponsored by Red Bull. He doesn't drink that shit.
Yeah.
LeBron James probably doesn't drink half the shit that he's sponsored by.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Like,
It's on the stand next to him. But in reality, it's not. I was working with a client, and they deal with athletes and they're associated with actors. He's like, you know what they put in those drinks? They put water.
Oh yeah.
In the product, they put water.
To fill it up. It's fillers.
It's fillers. He's like, there's nothing in there.
Well,
they
that's
dump the
one
shit
thing
out
we realized.
and they put water in it. He's like, the athletes won't touch that.
Well, that's one thing we realized, and you know, this might educate some people that are listening to the podcast, is everything out there is hiding behind a proprietary blend.
Yep.
And it'll say proprietary blend of, you know, caffeine, creatine, beta-alanine, citrulline, you know, whatever. And then it'll say 5 grams, or 3 grams or whatever it is. But the problem is it could be, and it'll say like rice flour fillers, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The problem is it could be all fucking rice flour and then like 1/4 gram of each of the best stuff. So you think you're taking 5 grams of creatine, which is realistically what you should be taking. You might not even be taking a gram. You might be taking a third of a gram or 1/4 of a gram. And the problem is if you don't educate yourself and understand, because yes, I said earlier, I wish I was stupid sometimes, because I wouldn't second guess and try to look at
Right.
myself as an science experiment so much.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm so thankful for the education that I have learned, and I'm keeping my eyes open. I don't just take somebody's word for it from what I see on a post. I was always the type of guy to be like, yeah, really?
Research.
Let's see this shit.
Research. Research.
And we live in a fucking society, and I'm sure you can attest this, where if you see it on social media, it's real.
One of the biggest guys I follow is Lane Norton.
I fucking love him.
Dude, I fucking love him. He'll call bullshit out from the gate.
Yep.
His wife, Holly Baxter, was I forgot what bar they were taking.
He went to Illinois.
No way.
That's where he went
okay.
He went to University of Illinois.
Fuck, I love that guy. I guess his wife was she was counting her macros and she was taking this bar. I'm not exactly sure what company it was from.
Yeah, and basically they ended up finding out that it was
you saw
really
that?
off,
They took it to a lab.
They got it tested. And
they got it
all
tested
fucked up.
in a lab.
It said 3 net carbs and there was like 40 in it.
It was completely off. Completely off. And then the company wrote them back saying, "Oh, he's just talking crap." There's this big influencer and criticizer saying that our products aren't this. They just wrote him a big list, but he calls
They
bullshit.
tried to steamroll him, but I mean, he is so smart, dude. Like, he's one of the guys. I mean, I've learned so much from him. There's another guy right now I'm going to give a shout out that if you haven't seen him, you need to get on and check his stuff out, because I'm not going to say he's way smarter than Lane, but he's either right there or, in my mind, a little bit smarter. His name's Jordan Feigenbaum. He runs Barbell Medicine. I probably showed him showed you his shit back in the day.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, this dude he knows his shit.
Really?
And he is the type to where he's a walking fucking encyclopedia. And if somebody says something wrong, he immediately can debunk it in a heartbeat. I would love to get that dude on Joe Rogan. I actually knew somebody that knew Joe Rogan back when I was working on a television show called Kingdom, and I tried to hook him up. I tried to get his information to Joe, and somehow it got lost in translation. But I would love that dude to get on that podcast so people could hear him.
That would be legit. Him and Lane Norton just fucking bounce ideas back and forth.
I think he's in San Diego, right now.
Okay.
I could be butchering that. He's all over. I mean, he travels internationally doing these, Q&As and sitting down in seminars with people. And I mean, the guy is he is a force.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to look.
You got to look his stuff up, especially if you like Lane, because Jordan will take it to the next step. Like, Jordan will show you everything's Lane's saying and why, and better.
Damn.
And Lane's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just Jordan's just a little bit smart.
Okay.
Just a little bit. But,
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, look him up, man. I mean, and he'll do these Q&As on Instagram. And I mean, now I will say, sorry, Jordan, I will say sometimes he can come off as a dick, just a little bit.
Where's he from?
But he's not a dick. He's from where he originally started with DFM.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
And but he's not a dick. But he'll be just the type of guy. He doesn't care about. I mean, he's not here to be friends with you. He doesn't care about your feelings. You asked him a question, and he's telling you. He's not going to butter it up.
Right.
And and I'll admit, even back in the day when I would ask him questions, when I was back in 2008, 2009, when I first started being a trainer, I'd ask him questions, and he'd tell me straight up how it is, and everybody at first is like, you know what I mean? You're like,
everyone's buttholes tighten up.
Everybody but at the same time, again, going back to what we kind of discussed with our grandparents, is you kind of need that.
Yeah.
You need that. And you need to feel that humbleness. Like, you don't know it all, and that's going to help. And he's also the type too, to where he's always looking at the studies. So if he comes out and he says something and then he finds something that goes against it, he'll come out and say it.
Yeah.
So, and then he's got another guy, Dr. Baraki, that he works with too. They're both doctors. And they both work with each other and bounce facts off each other. Barbell Medicine, man.
Okay. I'm going to have to look him up.
I've done his programs. I go through phases, I'll do programs. I've done PH3. I'm actually started doing PH3 again, which is Lane Norton's. But then, I'll go through, after my pop died, man, I went on about a year to where I just kind of just went in and just kind of get the feel, get a pump, bro workout kind of thing. stretching, getting my splits back, stuff like that, foam
Right.
rolling, feeling good. But I always feel like I do my best when I'm doing, the big three: dead, bench, squat, daily undulating periodization. If I'm sticking to that, then I'm growing.
Yeah.
And I've always had the best physique by doing that.
Right.
Always.
Okay. I'm
So,
going to have to look him up.
do it,
All
man.
right, man. Well,
Do it.
hey, thank you for coming on, brother. I greatly
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
It's been a
Really
blast,
enjoyed this
dude.
fucking
Yeah, it was a
conversation.
blast.
So where can everybody reach you on your Instagram?
I mean, if you want to check me out, go to my Instagram. It's just Scheerer. I should stay up a little more on my YouTube, but my thing is,
You got a YouTube?
I do have YouTube, but it's mainly just, I used to blast it with content,
Right.
and then I had like 10,000 subscribers, and this was back in the day where you couldn't put music to your videos. Well, I kept fucking saying fuck it and putting it on there anyway. One day I go to get on my shit, and my fucking channel's removed.
Oh,
So I'm like,
damn, that
oh.
sucks.
And it was like, I remember it happened like the week we were driving out here
Oh,
to California.
shit.
So I was like, dude, I'm driving out. Now I lose my fucking channel.
Right.
I started over, and, I did a little bit of stuff, but then something kind of changed in me to where it was, I don't want to do much anymore until I've made it, if
Right.
that makes sense, until I'm where I want to be.
Mhm.
But I still try to document my journey a little bit. Because there's always that weird relationship that you have to where you're like, okay, everybody starts out as a wannabe at first. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody
Like
does.
that poser
Like,
stage?
Yeah, like when you first started doing your podcast at first, you're like, okay, this is something new. Fucking, what if nobody likes it?
That's
I'm gonna put it out.
exactly how I
I'm gonna
was.
put it out, and then people will be like, "When he's fucking opening it out, he's doing a podcast now." Like, what the? You got to understand that's gonna come, and I get that, but I'm at the point now to where I really want my work to speak for itself.
Right.
I don't want to, like, I didn't go into any of the stuff that I'm going to be doing, or movies I'm got coming up, or TV shows, just because when they come out, I want you guys to see it.
Right.
I want it to be on the screen.
Right.
I don't want to talk, because first off, I don't want somebody out there to put it into the universe that it doesn't happen.
Right.
But
Hey, Zach,
shit like
remember
that.
I heard you talking on the podcast. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They'll call you out on
but
it.
and that's but there is something as far as speaking it into existence, and I have
Right.
definitely spoke a lot into existence.
Good.
But there's definitely a right time to do it. But anyways, yes, Z Scheerer. I speak in tangents. My bad. Anyways, Z Scheerer is my Instagram. I got Facebook and IMDb. If you just look up Zach Scheerer, you can see anything that I've done. Maybe if you have IMDb Pro, you can see some projects that are coming up.
Okay.
So,
Well, hey, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the big screen.
it's coming, dog.
All right, brother.
It's coming.
Well, hey, thank you for coming on the show. Later, everybody.
Thanks for having me, man.